a testing time for the reigning premiers. Today, the Adelaide Crows are back at the MCG for the first time since grand final day last year, and they need a win. But bear in mind, the Crows have never beaten North Melbourne here in Melbourne. For their part, North Melbourne can't afford to be careless. So far this season, they've lost to Melbourne and Fremantle, games they expected to win. The premiers of 1996 up against the premiers of 1997, but there's much more than pride on the line. Hi everyone, Dennis Committee outside the MCG with more action from round 6 in the AFL competition. This afternoon, North Melbourne up against the Adelaide Crows. Now this time last year, Adelaide had a record of 2 wins and 3 losses. They lost in round 6 against Collingwood and then proceeded to win 5 games straight. But winning 5 in the AFL is something of a rarity. They need a win today to ease the pressure as this season unfolds. 2 other games being played today at the SCG at Sydney against Melbourne and in Perth at depleted St Kilda up against the West Coast Eagles at Subiaco Oval.
The 1998 AFL Premiership season proudly brought to you by Telstra, making life easier. Victoria Bitter for a hard-earned thirst. Cadbury Mark of the Year and McDonald's, official restaurant of the AFL.
It's a great day in Melbourne, hopefully with a game to match. Joining me in the commentary position this afternoon, Terry Wheeler and Kevin Bartlett.
Thanks, Dennis. Looking forward to a great game here at the MCG. Adelaide's first visit back to the MCG since winning the premiership last year, Terry.
Yeah, and they certainly would have fond memories, but it's a tough task here. I mean, North Melbourne, even though their form's been a little bit up and down, Kevin, I think they really are a strong lineup, and here they come out into the ground now.
A lot of their good players last week sitting on the interchange bench against Fremantle.
Yeah, and really they have got some great depth there. And one player, their number 37, Adam Simpson, who's actually going to lead the side out, playing his 50th game today. And when you talk about depth, he's done a lot at the North Melbourne Football Club in a short period of time, having played in premierships in all 3 grades. Johnny
Longmire and also Anthony Rock not playing today, 2 very experienced players.
Yeah, I think Rock's absence in the middle will be quite significant for them, but they've gone up and they've brought in 2 players, and actual 2 tall players to cover that, which is a little bit strange. Mellington returns and Stuart Corcoran, number 45, gets his first game after quite a long apprenticeship in the reserves. For over 50 games he spent there, but a good-sized boy who has played at centre-half forward in that competition.
Byron Pickett, number 28, has been a real success story this year, along with Harvey, who's kicked goals.
He certainly has. Harvey was great over in Adelaide against Port Adelaide in his first return game.
Well, here come the Crows, onto the MCG. First time since that big win last year.
And Mark Bickley, the captain, leading them out, and it's a significant occasion for Mark Bickley, his 150th game, and he also breaks Chris McDermott's most consecutive games record for the Adelaide Crows. So he's been a most durable leader for them, hasn't he?
Haven't been in good form. They've only defeated Fremantle and Geelong this year, so well below their best.
It is, Kevin, and really their problem is kicking enough goals. Jamison returned last week, kicked 3 down there, and so he will again be the focal point. But really they need a lift from some of the smaller players around that area, and interesting enough, Peter Vardy returns to the side this week. He will provide that, and big Aaron Keating, number 20, also in for his first game for the season.
I think the key is going to be up forward. No doubt they've got a very strong midfield, and the defence also is very, very strong. And we see there Mark Bickley, the skipper of the Adelaide Crows. He'll be looking forward to today's big game. We'll take a break and we'll come back with all the action from the MCG.
There's this sort of whistle coming from under the bonnet.
A whistle?
Yeah.
What, like...
No, it's more...
Oh,
Yes, that's it.
What seems to be the problem then?
Well, it, you know, kind of squeals.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you got to slow down and,
Yeah.
well, it goes...
Well, that's a squeal, all right. Sounds like brakes. What I'd like to do...
UltraTune, in tune with you and your car.
Paging, Dr. Elliott. Oh,
Hi. Listen, I'm really sorry about what happened. Is there anything I can do to help get your car back on the road?
Well, with Amy, they're taking care of everything.
Quotes?
Done.
Repairs?
Done.
Good quality?
Guaranteed for the life of the car, even if I sell it.
Oh, wow. Well, I guess you don't need me then. Have a nice day.
A free service that takes care of all your post-crash running around. Call Amy now.
You're with Amy.
Very strange scenes last night in New York where a man was rushed to hospital after attempting his own surgery. Dr. Cooperman, what can you tell me about this patient, Mark Webster?
Well, he was suffering abdominal pains at his home last night and tried to remove his own appendix. He did have some trouble, but overall, his technique was pretty good.
So you're saying you think he's tried this before?
Oh, yes. Scars on this patient's body indicate that he has performed several operations.
All my life, whatever I do.
You better make that two.
When you've got a serious DIY project, Mitre 10 has all the expert advice, professional services and free Mitre plans you need to get the job done right, every time. And our price match guarantee means we won't be beaten on price. So team up with Mitre 10.
We'll make it easier to get a 10 out of 10 result every time.
Mitre 10 out of 10 every time.
He's a popular TV commercial star who's lucky to be alive.
I was just having a night out.
Cut down on Sydney's Main Street.
I had no idea that he'd stabbed 10 times.
Help police stop gang crime. Plus, the hill of hope that became a hill of misery.
I opened the side door and I just heard a gushing sound.
Who released the wine and why?
32 tanks that had valves open.
A real whodunit in the Valley of Wine.
It's put an uneasy feeling through the grape growing community.
Australia's Most Wanted, Monday on 7.
And we're back at the MCG. Time to meet the team. John Russo, the fourth umpire. How you doing, John?
Good afternoon, Dennis. And I'm kicking against the wind today. I'm going for the Adelaide Crows.
Oh, okay. Toss of the coin. They've had a win already. Mark Bickley winning the toss. The breeze, of course, not a factor here at the MCG. Very still day. Mark Roberts is looking on, our man in the outer, representing North Melbourne. Good afternoon, Mark.
Afternoon, Dennis.
How's the feeling? North coming off that loss to Fremantle. Very keen, I would imagine.
Yeah, certainly are. It was a disappointing loss last week, especially when you look at the season as it pans out. And Adelaide, after a good win, they'll be raring to go and should be a good game.
What are the keys to beating the Crows?
Obviously, the midfield. We've been down the midfield for the last couple of weeks, and it's going to hopefully they can get on top, generate a bit of run through there, and pump it down to our forward line, which should contain a Carey, McKernan, and Scholl, and hopefully that'll be the winning edge.
Good on you, Mark. Talk throughout the afternoon.
Thank you.
Bench coming off for North Melbourne. Neil Curley joins us on the boundary. Great day, Neil. Yeah, good.
Fine, thanks. Just talking about the midfield of North, that's been the Crows' strong point in the last couple of weeks. Rashido and Bickley have been in very, very good form. But looking at the Crows' bench, I think the tallest player of the four is 5'10". Now, in the old, if you lost a Wren or a Keating early, that does put a tremendous load or workload on the rest of the taller players. And everybody knows at this stage that the Crows are undermanned in the tall department, and I expect that's where North will hurt them today.
Very important game. Shane McInerney's got the footy. Working alongside him this afternoon, John Harvey and Derek Humphrey-Smith. Big game. The Crows winning the toss, running left to right. Sean Wren comes off a long run, enjoying some wonderful form, thumps it down towards half forward. Rentoul slaps it out wide. Costa leads the race down towards half forward. Abraham got a hand in there. Well done. Grant quickly got it up. Abraham took it away from Anderson, his teammate. Kicks back towards midfield, ill-directed. Wren overran the ball. It's loose on the centre wicket area. Allison fell over. Wren digs it out. Nicely done. Going in solidly was Abraham. Play goes on. Harvey is tied up. Tyson comes out with the footy. And the bounce alongside the centre circle. KB.
Solid bump by Abraham to start proceedings. Maybe a vigorous North Melbourne today. Scott takes charge inside the centre square, kicks down towards the half-forward line. Kerry leading the race for the ball. The bad bounce beats Caven. Here's a chance for the excitement machine. Goes to ground.
Well, which one?
Picked up by McLeod. And takes a slips catch. It's Costa. He's on the half-back flank.
That'll be a great match up there, won't it? McLeod versus Winston Abraham, two fine players.
So he just kicks the ball long. There's Keating in front. Too tall.
So Jarman's at full forward and Jamison in the pocket. They're the options in the Crows forward line.
Aggressive young player, Keating. Vardy pounced on it, goes short into the pocket, finds Jarman, speak of the devil, quick snap around the foot. Magnificent kick by Jarman. First blood to the Crows.
Well, what do you make of it? Darren Jarman playing up there at full forward. John Blakey, his direct opponent, and you couldn't get a better matchup, I don't think, than Blakey on Jarman, but that was just a sheer magic. There is the space in the forward line here. Great piece of roving here. Swooping in on ring tool. The kick not quite good enough, but Jarman makes something out of this. Just laying the ball across the left foot, dragging it back around. That's a magical goal.
Well, the grand final in many ways a personal triumph for Darren Jarman. And what a start. Crows lead. Capuano and Wren. Wren again taps it down. Tyson over the ball. Still over the ball. Went to ground. Stevens ambitiously claims holding the ball. Will have a bounce. Still inside the centre square. Working its way out towards right centre wing for North Melbourne. And North bench.
Adam Simpson sitting there on his 50th game. So no emotion from Dennis Pagan.
No. Stevens dragged down, goes again. Wren, brilliantly done to Beckley at close quarters. Beckley towards half forward. Pickett did well, lunging forward. A push in the back perhaps to Allison, not paid. Risciuto off his step inside the 50. McCartney goes back, takes the mark on his chest.
And Carey has started centre half forward after spending time at centre half back in previous weeks, and McKernan at full forward.
Anderson away in the direction of Carey. Good grab. About 75 metres from goal, sets it up towards the pocket. Scholl going back, Hart reaches over the top, knocked it away. Left the crumbs behind though. McLeod's in there working hard, flicks it away. Wren has it on the defensive 50. Risciuto surrounded. Harvey should have tackled him. It comes to Beckley. Beckley paddling it up towards centre field. Now kicks towards half forward. Keating and McCartney go back. McCartney almost. Keating coming through strongly. Socket off the ground. Defensively by North Melbourne as it turned out, and Blakey goes back to claim the mark.
Plays on quickly, finds Shannon ground on the half-back flank. He's had a terrific first season with North Melbourne. There's a push out. Goes against Carey. Go to Peter Caven.
Wayne Carey maybe should realise that you can also push players in the back with your hip, which is exactly what he does there. But a bit of arm in it as well.
Wren short, just lopes to the ball. Looking for Keating again, who's been a target up forward, but chipping in is Jarman. He's already kicked one great goal. It's grand final day revisited. Kicks to the square.
Ooh. That's great pressure on the North Melbourne defence there. Jarman attacking the square. Eccles, an opportunity. Been a very good young player for them. And the Crows bench, a young bench. Trent Orban Allen nearest to us. Lance Piccioni on the far side.
Byron Pickett, who's had also a terrific season for North Melbourne. Second year at the club. Kicks the ball wide. So the race is on. McKernan's at target. Good fist away by Bassett. Risciuto at ground level. Tries to drill it back to 50. Does well. So Bickley thumps it long. High flyer. A great high fly there. That was by young Eccles, but he's given away the free kick. One thing we know about him, he can jump.
Oh, there's no doubt. Last weekend I saw him over in Adelaide and he took a couple of fine marks.
Archer again kicks the ball long, trying to set it up for North Melbourne. Too much carrying the ball. Harvey pumps the ball again back inside 50. A chance for North Melbourne. Smart was clever, kicks the ball high under pressure. Thump back by Stevens, taken away by McLeod. Loose ball. James in hot pursuit. He's got two to beat. Does well. Gets it back to McLeod. The Crows come away. McLeod. What a great player he is across the half-back line. The Norm Smith medalist has set it up. Bad bounce for Wren. Allison has pounced on it. Outside of 50. Looking for Scholl. He's got it.
Gee, the errant handball there is quite costly here for the Crows. I mean, Wren was doing the right thing, providing an option. But when you go on a handball like that, it's got to be right on the mark. And North Melbourne winning possession. Allison, great use of the ball, finding Scholl.
Well, he's coming off a pretty ordinary game against Fremantle. He's such an important player for North Melbourne over the last couple of years, playing at full forward. Usually a very good kick. Scholl just can't quite bend it back. and through for a behind.
So the Adelaide defence under a bit of pressure here early. North Melbourne able to run the ball through the middle, picking up on that error. But their defence has been quite sound right throughout the year. Some good players. Hart, obviously, one of the cornerstones to that defence.
Hart cramped for room. As a result, the kick ineffective. Anderson bounces the pass to Abraham. This should be a goal. He's missed to the right too. Just hung it out there. Didn't come back.
A couple of uncharacteristic errors here by the Adelaide defence. We had Andrew McLeod with a handball earlier on, about 30 metres out from goal, not hitting the mark. Ben Hart here choosing the shorter option when really, now that they've got Keating at centre half forward, they've got to use him, and that's another bad one.
Put that on the list. Vassar out on the full. Intended for McLeod. Anderson, short pass to the pocket. Coming on the lead, it's Harvey. So Harvey, only about 25 metres out. Quite a sharp angle, but it favours the right footer. He'll turn 20 in a couple of weeks, but at 5 goals against Port Adelaide back in round 3. Knows his way around inside the forward 50. Brett Harvey for the lead. He's made the allowance. He's missed to the left. They're peppering the goal.
They're getting the opportunities at the moment as a result of the Crows not clearing the error and using the ball as well as they should. They haven't quite settled after what was a great start with Jarman's first goal. It just seemed to have been trying to be a little bit too cute with the football. I think they need to get back to some basics here.
Hart giving the signal to kick the ball back into play. 3 wasted opportunities there by North Melbourne. Allison feeds the ball back out to Stevens. 65 metres out around the corner. Carey got a bad bounce. Grant kicks inside 50. Another bad bounce to McLeod, thumped on. So North Melbourne still with a chance inside 50. McLeod does it well, clean hands. Gets around Abraham. Plenty of time. Couple of casual bounces. Comes to centre wing. Goes short again. Keating has been the focal point up forward every time they've come inside 50. Inside their forward line, and Sampson takes it over the line.
Yeah, but KB, when you're a man of Keating's size, you don't want the ball 5 centimetres off the grass, do you? You want it tossed up a little bit so that he can use his physique and strength against McCartney in a marking duel. The ball delivery hasn't been good enough to him yet.
Keating, too tall, down to Risciuto, tried to just crash his way through, got rid of the ball. At ground level, Bell, those quick hands to Grant, back to Archer, so North Melbourne worked their way out of trouble. Lucks of fortune, lands in the arms of Corey McKernan, kicks the ball wide. Carey in hot pursuit is Peter Caven. He needs a kind bounce, needs support. Just fed the ball off. Looking back there for Scott Welsh. Comes back onto the trusty left boot. Here's Wren. Does it well. Drops the mark. A bad error. An unusual error for Wren. A loose ball on 50. Bassett under pressure. The Crows come away. That's better. Tyson. He's been in good touch. Kicks down towards the half-forward line again. Keating in front. McCartney, the spoiler. Back of the pack, Grant. He's had touches in this first quarter. Back to Keating. Winning a lot of the ball. Kane Johnson dragged to the ground. Byron Pickett squeezed up on the boundary line. Very casual. Kicks back to the wing.
High floating kick in from the side. Rintoul, the only man left standing, was Welsh. He comes away with a loose ball. Kicking down towards half-forward. Short of Carey. He comes up to meet it now. Caven slapped it away. Coming across on the angle is Allison. Knocked it North's way. Wren in trouble. Hand pass is about 10 metres. Picked up by Bassett. Into Mines. Untidy looking kick. It wanders out towards the wing. Tyson. Metres in the clear though. Hard against the line. Has time to slip. Little chip pass. Kane Johnson has it. He's at left half forward. Back to the middle. Eccles. Just forward of the wing. The Crows lead it by 4 points. Eccles goes short again.
Now they've got to go long to the square to Jarman.
Tyson, 60 metres out, does exactly that. Jarman, big leap. It bounces the wrong side of the post. A free kick, though, is coming back to North.
Yeah, considered an unrealistic attempt to mark by the umpire in that situation.
But it was Darren Jarman, though. John, nothing's unrealistic.
That changes things a bit. Risciuto close to the line. Stevens.
He's always a chance, isn't he?
Dennis, even though the Crows are leading at this stage, you'd have to say North Melbourne are controlling the game. They're using the ball a lot better.
Yes, looking the better side. Risciuto goes in short. Rintoul finds Bickley. Bickley inside the centre square. Goes for distance. Jarman again, one out. Works off his man. Blakey stumbles. Arriving quickly. Caven, open goal.
Tonight, 8:30 on 7, the Australian movie blockbuster that smashed box office records around the world.
Come on, girls. Let's go shopping.
Winner of the Academy Award, voted most popular movie at Cannes.
What is this, Outback with Benny Hill?
Starring LA Confidential's Guy Pearce, Terence Stamp, Hugo Weaving, and featuring the #1 musical soundtrack.
Green is not your colour.
A movie masterpiece, The Outrageous Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Tonight, 8:30 on 7.
We see Risciuto in the hands of the trainers. They lead by 10 points, the Crows. Good start. Wren against McKernan. Good smother. Grant. Again been busy to Stevens. Caught high. Free kick to North Melbourne. This will go to Anderson.
Just a blood rule with Risciuto with the nose.
Anderson from smack bang in the centre of the MCG goes wide. Scholl was the target. Bassett has been a very impressive young player this year. Sees the ball over the line.
You're very right in that assessment, Kevin. Bassett's work at full back, his first game of the year against Silvani was a very good one. Then he's held Scotty Cummings. He's been not only sound defensively, but quite prepared to back his judgment and be offensive when the chance comes.
McKernan down to Stevens, just couldn't take it. Wren, short kick. Allison, who's quick. Back to Grant. A lot of the ball in this first quarter to Abraham. There's a thumping kick. Across the face of goal. Smart's there. They need a kind bounce. Welsh thought he had it, lost it. Smart cleans up, heads towards the line. They'll toss it back in.
Smart by name, smart by nature right there.
Yeah, they're good at disguising it, aren't they? No doubt at all. That's what he wanted to do and did it perfectly.
Boundary throw in, right full forward for North. Still searching for their first goal. Wren was up. Hewitt flew from behind. Off the deck. It's socketed through. It's a goal by Welsh.
You'll be chuffed to bits. Lancer GLI Coupe from just $17,990 with free air. Hold your horses. Before you buy a car, check out Lancer GLI Sedan from $19,990 drive away with free air.
Huh? Ah.
No bull. Magna V6 Executive Sedan and Wagon with free air at the Mitsubishi end of financial year sale.
Just under 10 minutes till quarter time. Crows up by 4 points. Wren doing as he did at the opening bounce, thumping it down towards half forward. Bickley couldn't control it. Wren was hanging on. He's penalised. Advantage is paid though. Grant runs to 55 metres out. The kick not particularly good towards the pocket. Welsh got the last goal. Grant runs on. He's kicked another one. Grant, their leading goal kicker, strikes again.
Well, it's quite incredible. Here's Shannon Grant with 9 disposals already at the stage of the game. 5 kicks, 4 handballs, and these two are very good. This is the real essence of the advantage rule, that it would have really harmed North Melbourne to come back. The umpire's allowing it to go, and just flowing football. Shannon Grant stays in the contest all the way. Scotty Welsh honours the run, feeding it back to him on the left foot, rams it in.
A lot has been said about the good form of Wayne Swash up in Sydney, but certainly Shannon Grant has played some great football for North Melbourne. 9 possessions already in this first term. Wren wins the tap. Kangaroos by 2 points. Eccles has the kick smothered, does well, taps it back out to Tyson, who just thumps the ball back inside 50. Jarman caught underneath the ball. Here's mighty McMartin. Comes away with the ball. Hoiks it high towards the boundary line. Tyson stands underneath. It's one for the Braves. Stevens take the VC. Tyson wins the ball back at ground level, taken away by Stevens, puts it straight back over the line. Well, it's been a pretty good start now by North Melbourne after the Crows got away, Mark.
Certainly has. Momentum started to change a little bit there when Corey went into the ruck. Certainly a couple of opportunities were born because of Corey standing out here when the Crows were coming out of defence, and we seem to have lifted our work rate in the middle there.
Caught high. There's a free kick, and that's going to Vardy. Just outside of 50, a good 55 metres. So he thumps the ball long into the goal square. Mighty Mick gets a fist on it and puts it over the line.
You would really have to class Mick Martin as one of the, well, great's a term that's thrown around quite often, but gee, he's been a very, very good fullback for North Melbourne. There are no risks taken. He controls, and he really does captain that area.
Stevens, he's on the half-back line. Kicks the ball long towards the wing. 2 against 1. That was tough there for Archer, but he got a push in the back.
It's actually contact from the front that we see penalised here, and
it was from the front.
Yeah.
I don't know about the foot in the guts, eh?
Back to 50. Carey from behind's got it. Now it's a long way out from goals, but here's a thumping kick. Scholes on the lead. That's been ignored. Welsh is back in the square. McKernan also on the lead. Kicks the ball. Winston Abraham lurking behind. Off hands. And they'll throw it back in.
There's no doubt that towards the end of last season, Carey was still carrying the effects of that shoulder injury. This year, he's just so much freer above his head, and his marking starting to reflect that.
Wren, well done. Got it down. Smart, can't control it. Abraham, almost. Bickley comes away. Kicks it up towards the wing. Scott does nicely. Kicks across the ground. Allison running back with the flight of the ball. Pulls up inside the centre square. Off his step, pops it out wide. Carey's got it. Carey, about 55 metres out, kicks for space, on the lead Welsh, timely fist from Hart, gets it across the line, so a throw in.
Dennis, I think the 2 big men today that are going to dominate this game, 1 Wren for the Crows and 2 Carey for North Melbourne, even at this stage of the game. They're just about controlling their respective positions.
The Curls Caven's still the best bet at this stage?
I think so, either he or Smart.
Yep.
Wren gets it away. Plenty of Crows there. Fickle bounce. Stevens. Now Carey falling to the ground. Grant in trouble. Looping hand pass towards the boundary. Costa knocks it away from Abraham. Tyson comes across. Can't keep it in. Not sure he wanted to. It'll be tossed in outer side. So the Crows starting pretty well, getting the first 2 goals, but North coming back strongly. The bench warming up for North. McKernan and Wren. Falls at the back, and Costa blanketed off the boot. It wobbles up towards centre field, and Vardy falling to the ground. Got it to James. Sweeping hand pass to Tyson. Tyson forward of the wing. Inside the 50 come Adelaide once again. Jarman couldn't control it. And the sweeper behind McCartney to his own advantage. Picks it up now at left half back. Long hand pass. Releases Harvey. And Harvey decides to go for a gallop. Smart not coming to him. Harvey kicking in towards centre half forward. Wren is drifting back. A wonderful player.
And Dennis, that was one occasion where the bounce wasn't necessary. Carey was an option for Harvey to kick to, but when he took the extra bounce, Carey was too close. He had to go to centre forward. Wren had it covered.
And Martin just tapped the ball onto Shannon Grant, back to Winston Abraham. Goes short. This is a poor kick. It's going to set it up to Bassett. I don't think anyone gets back across the half-back line better than Wren. Vardy, quick hands to Tyson, who's been damaging out on the wing. Tyson, the ex-Tiger, to centre-half forward again. A short kick. Archer took the dive, couldn't take it. Pickett, so good under pressure. Gets it back to Stevens with Blakey. So 2 old heads work together. Kicks the ball wide. Trapping it on centre wing. This is Hewitt. Been a fine young player for the Kangaroos this year. Takes his time, a bit of think music, then pumps it back to Carey. Why not? The champ's there. Pounced on by Scholl. Gives it across the bell. Gives it to Allison. Runs into the open goals and bangs it through.
Chocolate is chocolate is chocolate is chocolate is chocolate. Chocolate is chocolate. Chocolate is chocolate is chocolate is chocolate is chocolate is Cadbury is chocolate is chocolate is chocolate is Cadbury is chocolate is Cadbury is chocolate. Chocolate is.
Corey McKinnon sitting down. 3-3-2-2. Capuano now rocking against Wren. Wren getting the crumbs and again couldn't control it. Off the ground by Stevens. Only as far as Smart. Blanketed off the boot. It wanders down towards half forward. Touch ball, so Anderson wastes no time. Did well. Stevens, 8th possession coming up for him. Has a remarkable record against the Crows. He pulls it back towards the middle. Welsh! And Welsh is marked about 40 metres out directly in front.
Yeah, the Stevens-Rashudo matchup really is now heavily weighted towards the North Melbourne side. Stevens getting off Rashudo and finding space out on this near wing, tossing it in, and Scott Welsh eyes only for the ball, regardless of who was in the contest. The tallest man, Wren, was there, but he went up and at the ball, and that's the way to attack it.
Welsh has one. It was their first. Should convert from here. No, he sprayed it right. Still, North Melbourne increased their lead. Just talking about Anthony Stevens, remarkably consistent against the Crows. Over their last 5 meetings, he's averaged 25 possessions a game with a high of 27 and a low of 23. Short one in. This is Rashudo. Still deep in his own defensive area. Mark Rashudo.
Yeah, so this is where stats, Dennis. I mean, this possession of Rashudo's weighed up against a Stevens one. Stevens has been much more damaging for North than Rashudo's have been to date.
Rintoul still short of half back. North by 8 points. Rintoul high towards Wren, working his heart out. Unkind bounce. Vardy lays it off though. Running hard Rashudo. Almost lost his strides, gave the ball off. Kick from Vardy inside the 50. McCartney knocked it away from Keating. Crashing the pack was Jarman. Spills to Blakey. Blakey gets it across towards Martin. Martin out of the back pocket towards midfield and Stevens.
From the back edge of the centre square. Just pumps the ball long. Backing back is McLeod. It's a great duel. Grant chips it short, looking for Hewitt. Well, Shannon Grant has been an absolute star in this first quarter. 12 possessions and a goal. And this young man has slotted in very nicely into this North Melbourne lineup.
Yeah, Andy McLeod was a little bit too intent on the body work on Grant then, and really should have attacked the ball. Grant seizes the opportunity, uses it well on the left.
Hewitt from just inside 50. Brings up North Melbourne's 4th goal.
Hot apple pies, only for the kids, only for the dads, only for the moms, only for the grams, only for the good times, only McDonald's.
Ben Hart off the ground. Ormond Allen replacing him. Going down to the defensive goal square. 4-4-2-2. Capuano had to wait for that one. Rashudo couldn't control it. Rintoul. Hand passes towards half forward. Taken by Tyson. Needed a bit of luck and got it. Feeds it back. This is Vardy inside the 50. Vardy takes them on. Gets the hand pass away to Keating. Keating goes back to Rashudo. Rashudo off his step. It's a 3 for a minor score.
The Crows just don't at this stage seem confident going into their forward line, and in confidence I mean they're not making a clear decision as to whether they're going to go for Jarman, for Keating or for Jamison. The ball carrier seems quite hesitant at times.
Getting great drive from Tyson off the wing. The Adelaide Crows as Pickett kicks the ball back wide looking for Scholl, and this time marks in front of Tyson. Has it been paid? No, it hasn't been paid. He recovers well, kicks back. McLeod's got the sit. This time too good for Grant. The Norm Smith medalist. He's played up forward this year. Saw him kick 6 goals against Fremantle. But now back playing across the half-back line. North Melbourne, Shannon Grant. What a quarter he's having. From the edge of the centre square. Drives it to Allison. Great kick. Great lead. Welsh is in the square. Dangerous young player. Carries the target. It's in his direction. Off hands. Here's Welsh. Can't get around. Good tackle by Bassett. Quick snap. Carey. He doesn't miss.
Tonight, 6:30, be very afraid, because Mr. Bean's back with his money-saving tips on city parking. Plus, the secrets of high diving exposed. The hit series Mr. Bean, tonight, 6:30. Then at 7, the priests are out on a holy bowl.
You certainly are consistent.
And although Father Todd hits strike after strike, hello, ladies, he just can't seem to score with the women. What?
He said, tell her your name.
Dan Aykroyd in Stallman after Mr. Bean tonight.
Alarm bells ringing now for the Crows. They got the first 2 goals. North have got the last 5. 5-4-2-3. Wren, for his part, still winning in his position. Thumps it down. Tyson off the deck, gained about 5 metres. Scholl assisting him, running it back towards half-back. Now does well. Anderson inside the centre square. Comes out wide. Grant. Interesting. The respective clubs letting goal scorers playing on each other. Grant and McLeod. The kick inside the 50. In from the side. Rentoul. And a mark, I think, in there somewhere to Hewitt. Well, how did he get that? It went through about 4 pairs of hands to get to him. But Evan Hewitt has this ball directly in front. He'll kick from right on the 50.
Dennis, the injuries have hurt the Crows badly, particularly in the forward line this year. And you look at the situation, we have 3 virtual first gamers this year in the forward line, and young Eccles playing his 4th game of his career. So it really does put a big workload on those players.
You're right. And they need to fire up and soon. Meantime, Hewitt, very promising youngster, kicks another one.
Well, Malcolm Blight sitting there behind Terry Moore in the coach's box, and really would have his concerns. The quarter-time siren just can't come soon enough here for the Adelaide Crows. They've just been overrun here by North Melbourne. North are controlling the ball across the half-back line. McCartney's doing a job on Keating. Mick Martin from behind is actually setting up some run, and their forward line has all guns blazing, and Evan Hewitt with 2 goals in this first quarter, a key player.
And Hewitt certainly is a goal kicker. He's kicked 7 for the season, so he's been a fine pickup. Just around about 30 seconds left as Harvey comes forward once more for North Melbourne, charging out his Welsh. There's a great mark to Winston. Well, the time clock ticks away. It's down to 20 seconds, and that's a very good mark, Terry.
What makes it a great mark is that there are eyes only for the ball. When you're going back into that contest, you know someone's coming. You do expect to get barreled, but be able to have the courage to keep your eye on the ball, that depicts what courage is all about in football.
Abraham going for 7 unanswered goals by the Crows from right on 50. He's a thumping kick. There's the siren. What a way to end the first term. I think we've heard the siren.
It's like a Queen Mary in a fog. And I think the Crows are in a bit of a fog too. The first 2 goals were theirs, but nothing after that. And a bit of uncertainty, I think, with North Melbourne coming off that loss against Fremantle. But eventually, they got their confidence and they started kicking goals. And Malcolm Blight, very slow to come out of his foxhole there, and he would feel under siege. Great start by North Melbourne. And one wonders how Adelaide can slow them down. Curls mentioned that inexperience on the forward line, but the defence under pressure and not coping all that well. And Dennis Pagan would be delighted, I think, with the situation. Big lead by North Melbourne. They bolted clear at quarter time. It's 7-4 to 2-3 at the MCG. 46 players, 15.
Wherever I go, whatever I do, I know in my heart I'll never be far apart from you. Though the years roll by, you'll see me through and be with me all my life, whatever I do.
To start your own business, you could risk running by yourself into an uncertain future, or start scoring sooner by using Amway's dynamic business plan, which has successfully operated worldwide for over 38 years. Amway, because opportunity has its rewards.
They can make a rough road feel this smooth.
They can make the most demanding road feel safer. And right now, Munro Sensor Track shock absorbers are on sale. Buy 3 and get the 4th one free. That's one safe deal. Buy 3 and get the 4th one free. Only on Munro Sensor Track. Only for a limited time. So go straight to a Munro stockist or call your Munro Ride expert on 1800 069 999.
We were just looking around for this house for so long, and when we finally found it, it was just a miracle. And I knew that this house was the one. And you know, standing there at that auction, we were so nervous. I just didn't know if we were going to get it or not. And we thought, oh, we're not the only ones. And yeah, I've never been to an auction before.
Oh, congratulations.
To start your own business, you could risk running by yourself into an uncertain future, or start scoring sooner by using Amway's dynamic business plan, which has successfully operated worldwide for over 38 years. Amway, because opportunity has its rewards.
You want to go out Saturday night?
Look who's been dragged to a singles bar.
How do you feel about marriage?
Hate it.
Wow, how about kids?
Had a vasectomy.
An all-new Home Improvement. Tonight, 7:30.
I'm Richard.
You like jazz? Then at 8 on Dharma and Greg, you're invited to the dinner party to end all dinner parties.
The potato masher. Oh, I told you, I gave her the day off.
The newlyweds dine with the in-laws.
What are you doing?
What could possibly go wrong?
I am starving.
Dharma and Greg, 8 o'clock tonight on 7.
The footy continues at the MCG. North Melbourne and the reigning premiers. You won't miss a thing.
And the Crows really under pressure at the present time. As you can see, North Melbourne storming away. 7-4-46 to 2-3-15. Young Hewitt looking very impressive with those 2 early goals. And at the SCG this afternoon, it's Sydney against Melbourne. Now, replays are scheduled around the network. If you don't want to know the score, I suggest you look away now. Malcolm Blight with plenty to say, but seems pretty calm. A year's a long time in footy. These sides last met in round 12 last season. In the Brownlow that day, David King got 3 votes, Mark Roberts got 2, and John Longmire got 1. It seems a distant memory at the moment. Mark, how's your progress?
It certainly is a distant memory. We've certainly got a lot of movement up forward. Scotty Walsh is certainly a live wire up there, and Evan Hewitt's proving a bonus. And it's good to see Carey taking a few pack grabs. And Shannon Grant's proving a handful there. He probably had about 10 touches that quarter, and he's driving the ball long into the forward line.
I know it's dangerous to say, but can you see the Crows getting back from here?
Never underestimate the Crows, as last year's final series can attest to, but I'd say that we're in a good position at this stage.
And taking it quarter by quarter.
Another cliche.
Good on you, Mark. Curls is back from out at the huddle. Neil?
Yes, it's very unusual for Malcolm to be so long with his talk, but he really ran it home to the players down there and just how they've got to concentrate, particularly in defence. The forwards try and provide a better option. And I walked out to the umpires and asked him if there was any difference in the team talk among the players. He said no, North Melbourne and the Crows, they're about similar, so it's just coming from individual talent.
Start of the second quarter. North Melbourne by 31 points. McLeod across half back. Kicks down where Archer chips in. Strong marking side, North Melbourne. Archer kicks wide, looking for Winston, who kicked that great goal right on the siren. Such a dangerous player. It's been fantastic for North Melbourne. There were some people, Terry, who thought that maybe he just wouldn't adapt to Melbourne over in Fremantle, but he's been a great pickup.
Yeah, often, Kevin, I mean, that second club move is a very significant one, because you start to weigh up, well, my career really is going nowhere and have to make the most of it. And some players, unfortunately, need that real severe slap in the face to realise their potential.
So the umpires officiating today. Derek Humphrey-Smith, of course, was in the news a couple of weeks ago with the Chris Grant report down at Cardinia Park. So a ball up on centre wing.
You can see there Mark Bickley has the job now on Shannon Grant.
Renan Capuano spills wide. Abraham to Stevens, falling to the ground. Got boot to ball. It floats back towards the centre square. Some courage needed. It came from a couple of players there, Hewitt and McLeod. Eventually booted across the ground by Smart. Slapped out of the middle by Carey, only as far as Caven. Caven towards half forward. Courageous effort by Rintoul going back with the flat of the ball. And he's marked about 55 metres out from goal directly in front.
That's a fairly solid whack across the back of the head. It's quite unintentional, I would suggest. To McCarthy, the ball was there, but boom, he wears that one.
Yeah, certainly knew he was there, didn't he, Wheels?
Chad Rintoul goes for distance. Wanders offline towards the pocket. Behind.
That kick in towards the goal, he kicked from some 60 metres out, and really the only option that was presented to Chad Rintoul was to go to the square. So I'm just wondering how confident the Crows forward line feels, because they weren't really presenting themselves with too many options.
Pickett goes long, looking for Capuano. Wide of the pack, a chance for Stevens. Hand passes towards the line. Can North manage to keep it in? No, they can't. Grant beaten over the line.
Anthony Stevens been such a great player for North Melbourne midfield. We see Piccioni there, stretching on the boundary line. Youngster from the under-18s last year in Victoria. Done some nice things for the Crows this year. Inside 50. Pack of players and they'll ball it up. 46 plays 16. Evan Hewitt with 2 goals, the only multiple goal kicker on the ground for North Melbourne. 7 unanswered goals after Adelaide kicked the first 2 goals of the game. Bickley, the skipper, trying to crash his way through. Gets the ball across to Sampson. There's a ping at the goals and is off target.
So Sampson, I think, started on the interchange bench. He also has a 6-goal bag to his name in that game of Fremantle, he and McLeod. And I think that's one of the concerns for me for the Adelaide Crows, is that you take those 2 scores of 6 goals out of their years total. They haven't had too many goal scorers at all.
Pickett again going for distance. Capuano and Wren again. Wren knocks it back goalward. Martin had it knocked away by Costa. Keating, untidy looking hand pass. In goes McCartney flailing. Ball left behind. Jamison picks it up. Snaps. Bacon square. No luck in the bounce. Well, Jamison has booted 8 against North and he's passed. He was playing on the forward line.
He headed their goal kicking in the first year, Dennis, with 49 goals, Jamison, but I suppose in recent years he's always been at full back.
Yep, that was a career best. 8 against North, round 24, 1991. Pickett gets the job at full back, kicking in. Comes towards our broadcast side. Capuano reeled it back in. Now he's lost it. Rashudo. Rintoul measures it from about 35. It's to the right, but a good mark is taken by Jarman, just a couple of metres inside the behind line.
Well, it's a, what do you say, I think it was a well-judged mark. Jarman in the one-on-one contest was judging the flight of the ball that was always going to come over the top of Blakey, and then just a little bit of body work to achieve it.
Interesting angle. And he's got a couple there, a couple of metres that is, and he's put it through.
It's the nation's biggest killer, but in Adelaide, where you live could increase your chances of a heart attack.
Didn't believe that it could be possible.
In a special report Monday, 7 Nightly News names Adelaide's survival suburbs. Are you living in one?
How would you like Tony Modra and Gavin Wanganeen to visit your school?
Just grab an entry form in this week's Sunday Mail.
Then watch 7 Nightly News for the Nightly Clue.
There are great prizes thanks to the AFL store in the AFL Stars School Visit Competition.
Two goals to Darren Jarman. We'll have great memories of this ground. The grand final last year. He kicked 5 goals in that final term. Great performance to help the Crows win their first ever flag. Ball thumped on by Stevens. Does his own roving. Thumps the ball long. North Melbourne do this so well. Welsh from behind. Carey floats through the air. Gives it back off to Grant. 25 metres out. Kicks a goal. 2 goals to Shannon Grant.
Well, he has been really the live wire across there, and we've got him down for 2 goals straight, and by my calculations that means that's 14 goals 2 for the year, and so give him a shot. He doesn't miss too many. Carey really the aggressor in that contest, and just to have him there attacking the ball in that manner and then feeding out onto Grant, who was on the preferred left foot side, that was a good setup from North.
8-4-3-6. Mark Roberts looking on. And Mark, when you recruited Shannon Grant, not you exclusively, but the club, did you anticipate you were getting a goal kicker? As Carey takes a very clever mark inside the 50, it must be a very pleasant surprise. He's got 14 on the season.
Certainly has. I was just saying to Neil then that he's kicked goals every game. I think he's had 1 or 2 games where he's kicked the 4 already, and it's been a great pickup. It's been a good spot for both clubs, I suppose.
Abraham trying to work it forward. Pretty tough in there, and eventually it goes across the line. So a boundary throw in right full forward for North Melbourne. Weight of numbers, winning it down the ground, just brute strength.
Interesting body work, isn't it?
but as you called it, Dennis, it was just brute strength, just being able there, and the ball coming in, 2 men pushing against each other.
Hewitt over the top, thumps it down. James knocks it across the goal face. This is Scholl at close quarters to Allison, who hooks but misses.
One thing for players and young players developing in the game, you really need to know your teammates, and you need to know whether your teammates are left footer or a right footer. Now on 2 occasions we've seen North Melbourne give the ball to left foot players on that outer side. Grant gold, but Allison missed on that occasion, but good smart thinking inside the game.
Not too many of their players do U-turns, Terry. They've been programmed to give the ball off to players coming down, meeting them face on. Here's McLeod on a big run from the half-back line to the half-forward line. Kicks the ball long. Jarman's caught behind. Blakey playing in front.
It's a hard one to judge for a forward, isn't it? You don't know whether the player carrying the ball is going to take another bounce or when he's going to kick it. And Jarman misjudged it completely.
Blakey looking for McKernan. Pushes Wren in the back. Not paid. So he lopes away and kicks long. They kick very, very long. Grant was there. Coming over the top was Caven. Bickley goes to the ground. A good tackle by Carey. Loose ball. Smart. Feigned the hand pass. Just tumbles the ball forward. Rintoul inside the centre square. Pickett the tackler, and he's tough at it. Over the top is Kane Johnson and Pickett. Standing tall, and they'll bounce it inside the centre square. He's cleaned up a couple of players this year, Byron Pickett. Goes at it pretty hard.
Yeah, and what's been most impressive for me is just the ability he's had to sweep around behind the play and clean things up. His use of the ball's been very good throughout the season.
And Risciuto tied up by Stevens, so they'll bounce. Still inside the centre square. 53 plays 24. 8-5 North Melbourne. 3-6 Adelaide. Grant's kicked 2 goals and Hewitt 2 goals apiece. And for Crows, Jarman has kicked 2. And Kim Costa just climbs back up off the ground. Peter Bell and young Cochrane and Mellington warming up on the boundary line. Cochrane, his first game for North Melbourne today. Jamieson outside of 50, just wobbles it again off the boot. Blakey leads in the race for the ball. Out there with McCartney, and they'll toss it back in.
It's just a tough one at the moment for the Crows to find who their goal scorer is going to be. You just mentioned Jarman there with the 2, and then Caven as the centre half back has kicked their 3rd. Last week, Jamieson with 3 was the only multiple goal scorer out of a score sheet of 10 goal scorers.
James kicking towards full forward. Jarman first back, gets his 3rd.
Have you got the team photo of the 1998 AFL Premiership side? Over the next few weeks, the advertiser gives you the opportunity to collect all 16 AFL team photos to complete your official AFL 1998 footy album. So look for the photo coupons this week in the advertiser, then redeem them for just $1 at your newsagent. Footy up close in the advertiser, today's newspaper.
Terry, do you think 8 would be enough from Jarman to win?
Need a lot from him, don't they? You just can't find another real goal scorer just in that structure at the moment, can you, Curls?
That's correct.
James.
The North defence is playing very well.
Costa down towards half forward. The margin back to 23 points. Jamison knocks it across to Johnson under real pressure. And across the boundary line it goes. Archer applying a strong tackle, so a throw in. Kane Johnson giving them some run. Good to see him back. Boundary throw and run on the 50. Keating and McCartney. Body to body again. McCartney with strength wins it down. Stevens, yet another possession. Kicks it up towards the wing. Well controlled by McKernan. Away to Anderson. Takes them on. Hand passes to his own advantage. Or he thought so. He was going to track after that ball, but he was tackled. Wren putting out the long arm, but Anderson getting the free kick. He did hand pass the ball. Watch it again.
Clearly held after he hand passes the ball here. Obviously made it look a lot more serious than it really was, but no doubt he was held.
Meantime, the play in midfield and Carey. North trying to work it forward. Free kick going North's way. And will be taken by Simpson. Simpson off his step. Long probing kick going back. Allison off hands. A chance for Scholl. Falling over. Well, almost. It comes to Grant. He's been so dangerous. Smothered off the boot this time. And across the line. Shannon Grant knocking up, getting possessions. 15 so far. And he's kicked 2 goals. As we said, that makes it 14 for the season.
Yeah, his 15 disposals then coupled with Stevens with 13. They're really just dominant in the midfield, the North Melbourne side at this stage. Other players there, Brodie Anderson with 9. He's been a very good pickup, I think, this year to add to there. And then from the back, Winston Abraham, very, very much tying things up from there.
North Melbourne by 23 points. Wren and McKernan. Now Carey takes over. Once more down to ground. Eccles paddles the ball along. Costa can't keep it in. And again, they'll toss it back. So North Melbourne holding sway. They led by 31 points at quarter time. And now lead by 23 points. So the Crows just gradually starting to get back into the game. Costa short to Sampson. Centre wing, kicks down towards the half-forward line, and he finds Johnson. 55 metres out from goal. He was keen to play on. The loose player is James outside of 50, stands and delivers. It's a big bomb. Jarman caught from behind. Ball punched forward. Archer with strength, feeds it off to Pickett. Caught. Great tackle that time by Rintoul. Sampson goes down to the ground. Quick hands by Blakey. Back to Scott. Tumbles the ball forward. Coming out hard. James once more does well. Feeds it back off. Wren sidesteps, thumps the ball back into 50. One for the high flyers at the back of the pack. Jarman was lurking again, but this time it goes back over the line. They'll toss it back in. There's Jarman. He's booted 3. Has been playing from behind. Blakey.
Yes, he has.
He's got 2 of his goals playing from behind. One was a mark and the other was a crumb.
To give the Crows the due, and it's been 1 goal apiece this quarter, so at least they've stopped the sort of avalanche that North Melbourne had created in the first quarter.
But Archer has gone back, playing now on Jarman. Here's McLeod. Great turn of foot. Short. Finds Jarman. Now he's a long way out. He's a good 60 metres. Maybe a bit of magic. I thought that was coming. Runs inside 50. Just a bit slow to get the boot to the ball. Took it a bit too casual.
This is a great coaching piece here for Dennis Pagan, for Scotty Welsh, the young man on the mark. When you're standing the mark, you should never jump up and leave the ground, because as soon as you do that, you're out of it. And I would suggest that Jarman, having seen a young rookie player standing on the mark, had already decided to do that. But give Scotty Welsh his dues. He turned around, he chased, he harassed, enough to put Jarman off it.
I reckon if KB was on the mark, he still would have done it. Pickett kicks in.
I just had the feeling he was going to balk and have a ping at it.
I can tell you, I had the feeling. Here's Keating. He's about 55 metres out. Margin back to 22 points. Short one is on towards the middle. Nicely done. James has it. Now he's within scoring range. Brett James, Adelaide showing more. And they're fighting hard here. Such an important game for the Crows. James from right on the 50. Long kick. Good kick. Crows back in it.
By a 10 out of 10.
When you've got a serious DIY project, Mitre 10 has all the expert advice, professional services and free Mitre plans you need to get the job done right, every time. And our price match guarantee means we won't be beaten on price. So team up with Mitre 10.
So you'll get a 10 out of 10 finish every time.
Mitre 10 out of 10 every time.
Allison off and young Cochrane on for his first game from Central Districts. McKernan beats Wren this time. Had it, lost it. The ball, Risciuto out to Connell's just come onto the ground as well. There's Cochrane, number 45. Drags down Wren. Costa. Good enough to get his kick away. Lands in the arms of Risciuto. Strength just rolled the shoulders. Outside of 50 again. Kicks the ball deep inside 50. Coming out, couldn't take the mark was McCartney. Archer playing in front of Jarman. Goes wide to Grant, who's been the star. Feeds the ball up. Didn't hit a target. He was looking for Mighty Mick. Grant, good enough to recover. Take two from centre wing. Kicks down towards the half-forward line. McKernan should take it. Went a bit before acceptances. Smart just brushed away his opponent. That's a 25-metre handball. Finds Tyson. Very good in the first quarter. Back to Jamison. The 1-2 was a poor handball. Was at his foot, but he did well. In front, Jarman's got it. Playing with more urgency now, the Crows.
I'll tell you what, James Tyson out there, and that was just sensational. Played a handball to him, wasn't good. It was down at his toes. He had to gather, and then the kick under that little bit of pressure to Jarman was just sensational. Here it is, the second handball, not a good one there from Jamison, but gathers it and under pressure gets a great pass away.
Jarman going for his fourth goal. Pushed it right.
Terry, this is the type of commitment that Malcolm Blight would be looking for. In the first quarter, they've really lifted their work rate, the Crows, and they're matching. Well, they're more than matching North now.
Just moments ago, we saw Wren limping. Seemed to get a blow on the right knee. The trainer's out very quickly, as you'd expect. All of Adelaide should have been out there helping them.
Curls, they've got a bit of urgency in their game now.
Yeah, I was just saying, this is the type of commitment that Malcolm will be looking for, because they're really matching North now.
Wren from behind knocked it down. Connell quickly back towards the middle, and James, can he get another one? Yes, he can. No, he can't. He pulls it back too far, I fancy, although the goal umpire's gone a long way. He does like it.
Better make that two.
And there's the coach, Malcolm Blight. Terry Moore sitting in front of him. Been a big turnaround this game. They trail now by 9 points. Wren thought he was held. Pickett through the centre square, came off the half-back line, kicks the ball back. Carey with a one-hander. The King looking for Winston Abraham's made great space.
There are just times in a game where a team effort can be blown out by one individual effort. And this one here just didn't quite get the ride he wanted, but then just stretched the big right hand up and took it.
What was that old saying? 2 hands for learners?
Yeah, he does it easily with one, doesn't he?
Winston Abraham kicked the goal on the siren at quarter time. 35 metres out is a beautiful kick. Splits the centre. He's kicked two.
Well, you wouldn't want the Adelaide Crows players to get disheartened by North Melbourne now coming back and getting that goal. Adelaide had kicked the last 3, but it was only just individual magnificence that turns this ball back around and has North Melbourne score the goal. So Adelaide Crows players, don't be disheartened. Your efforts at this particular stage of the second quarter have been very, very good. They must stay in there.
So the margin was 31 points. It's now back to 15, and Mark, individual brilliance, hard to stop.
He is a very hard player to stop. He's no doubt the hardest player one-on-one in the league, and no disrespect to Caven, you wouldn't think that he would be strong enough to handle him one-on-one.
Good thing he plays for you. There's Bell out of the middle, only as far as Smart. Smart lays it off. McLeod, the defensive side of the wing, kicks wide. Keating could have been bumped in the back. Carey takes the mark. So Carey suddenly appears in the defensive half now. Little chip out wide. Missed by Hewitt. Butters up again and did well. McLeod's outnumbered. As you can see, 3-on-1 as he carried forward Anderson, nothing doing. Tyson ties it up, and that's a good result for the Crows.
So, girls, have they rolled Carey over?
Yeah, they've changed Carey and McCartney. I can't quite work that one out.
So, yes, Carey is at centre-half back there on Keating. Mellington came onto the ground and has gone into the forward line.
Maybe it's the coach's way of saying he should have gone with two hands. Wren goes up and thumps at Goldwood. Scott's in there. Knocks it around a couple of times. Stevens goes in solidly. Throw it in, says the umpire. There's Carey on Keating. 59-44. 6.5 minutes till half-time. Good comeback by the Crows. Wren has been magnificent up in front. Tried to take clean possession. Anderson hard against the line, in trouble. Here to drop it. Throw it in once more.
And Dennis Pagan also has slipped young Stuart Corcoran on at some stage. I missed it, but he's out there for his first run for the North Melbourne side.
Wren fell over, so did his opponent. Stevens got the crumbs, kicking it up through the wing. Hart, who was off the ground earlier in the term, is claimed by McCartney, held to him. And we'll have a ball up, so McCartney's on the forward line, Carey on the back line. I think if you go back a couple of seasons, Carey was reported for striking Jason McCartney. Round 20, 1996. It shouldn't happen again this afternoon.
Well, Carey is now floated right down inside 50s, virtually at centre-half forward. Keating didn't go with him, and now Keating's running hard back, trying to be the free player for the Crows.
McLeod is having a good patch. He got it to Rintoul, who finishes it off. Magnificent long bomb.
Monday, 8:30.
Is he all right? He's obviously very depressed.
When Joe's dad goes missing,
His bed hasn't been slept in.
it's time to expect the worst.
Nasty one for you, I'm afraid, Nick. Bloke's been pulled out of the river near Cotter's Bridge.
Heartbeat, Monday, 8:30.
Then at 9:40, in an all-new Kavanagh mystery,
The stab in the back.
one man takes on the Royal Navy.
Nothing. You can't do nothing.
In a fight or truth.
Can't think straight.
Kavanagh QC, 9:40 Monday on Channel 7.
Anderson off for North Melbourne. Shoulders come back onto the field. So the Crows again drag it back to 9 points. They trail by 31 points at quarter time. Stevens caught by Connell. Still has it. They pile on top. They'll ball it up inside the centre square.
It's quite incredible, isn't it, KB, that North Melbourne, the run and flow they had in that first quarter, you know, when they finished the quarter kicking the last 7 goals, and now to have dried up and just kicking 2 goals in this quarter, punctuated by good dominant play by Adelaide.
So thumped on by Capuano. McLeod, he's been pretty good also. Cross half back. Abraham's kicked a couple of goals, but a bit of run in this second term. It's a loose ball. It's up for grabs. Welsh pumps the ball back deep into the forward line. Mellington stood his ground. Pounced on by Hart. He's come off the interchange bench. He's had a spell. Puts it over the line. Corey McKernan and young Harvey and Allison sitting on the interchange bench for North Melbourne, along with Anderson. So Dennis Pagan not frightened to use the bench, keep players fresh. Crows come forward. Standing his ground was Cochrane, caught one high, and in the back. Yeah, signal given was in the back, KB. I think the umpire could take his pick here because he... well, that's a free kick to Cochrane, isn't it? Yep. Carey through the fingertips. McLeod cleans up. Safety first, heads towards the line.
There's a real game of cat and mouse going on between Wayne Carey and Aaron Keating at the moment. Carey is playing at centre-half back, but floating down, and really as Carey goes forward, Keating is going back to his forward line, so the gap just gets wider and wider.
They've made the switch back though, Terry. Carey back to centre-half forward now.
Free kick is going to Sean Wren at the boundary throw-in. McLeod, 13 possessions. He's been so lively in this term. Here's Vardy. Good to see him back. Into the collarbone in a semi-final last season. Missed the grand final triumph. Archer. Good grab. Lays it off to Carey. Carey across half-back. His second bounce. Running it up towards the centre square. Demanding a lead now. Goes for distance instead. From behind, the big leap down there from Welsh. Bickley trapped it to the advantage of Bassett. Gives it back to Bickley. Bickley does nicely. Prosciutto comes away from half-back. Little short pass, and Smart had to wait. Bell was bearing down. Smart takes the mark alongside the centre circle.
Dennis, you call Bickley in that piece of play. He has really dried up Shannon Grant.
Here's Johnson, forward of the wing, kicks towards the pocket. Keating is there.
Good mark.
That's a good mark. Keating has been very good this afternoon. Young man who found himself in a premiership team after only a handful of games. He's deep in the pocket. It'll take a very good kick from here. They're down by 9 points, the Crows, after they trailed by 31 at quarter time. Keating misses to the near side.
I think just as Aaron Keating was having his kick there, the super came up with his personal statistics there, and 200 centimetres. I mean, that's a very tall man. Jason McCartney's opponent is only 191, so I think Adelaide need to be able to use that height advantage by actually tossing the ball up a little bit more to Keating rather than looking for these low leads.
Archer goes wide to Bell. Costa has kept the ball alive. Johnson, some fancy footwork, finds Jarman outside of 50, the danger man, Jarman. Crossed the face of goals. Taken by Blakey.
Didn't look towards the middle, did he?
Well, he does kick those miracle goals.
I
know. Johnny Blakey has to bring the ball into play over the mark here, so it's got to come over Brett James's head.
Blakey kicks long. Capuano's a target. Those long arms there of Wren. Magnificent player. Arguably the best ruckman in the business.
KB, there's one player sitting on the north bench that Malcolm Blake would love to see there, and that, of course, is McKernan.
Well, he's had 11 possessions, taken 3 marks now. Sean Wren kicks the ball deep. It's a floater. McCartney did well. It was a hard ball to take. Scott from the back pocket. North Melbourne kicked the ball long, but it's all back here as the Crows. Wren lets Kane Johnson chips in.
With full respect to Sean Wren, I think that was a good decision. But Johnson may be the better kick of the two.
So again, distance to the goal square. Carey takes the grab. Well, he's a magnificent player. He's been playing at both ends of the ground. And again, kicks the ball long. No short passing from both these sides. They're getting plenty of distance with the ball. And we see the ball on the half-forward flank for the Crows, and it'll be tossed back in. McLeod, a big second term. Simpson on the interchange bench, just having a bit of a towel down. McKernan just resting, but if you're a Crow supporter, it's a good spot for him to be. It's a hard spot to kick goals from, the interchange bench. Risciuto trying to crash his way through. Winston Abraham across the half-back line, back towards the edge of the centre square. It's a loose ball, pounced on by Scholl, taken away by Cochrane. So North Melbourne into attack. Mellington strong overhead. He's got 2 to beat. Smart, tackled by Welsh. Again, it's up for grabs. Welsh with a good burst of speed there. Got in front of Smart, who's not slow. And takes it over the line.
I think it's been a very good united push here by the Crows defence. I think they've all worked in very well during this second quarter. They've regrouped themselves, and when they combine, they're working well behind each other, providing support from behind the line and creating some run.
Smart dragged off the kick. This is Connell. McKernan just back on the ground for the last minute. Now the runner getting involved there, and perhaps that could be a free kick if it's the North Melbourne runner. To the Crows. John?
Yeah, well, it is the North Melbourne runner, but it was certainly unintentional, so in those circumstances he wouldn't be penalised. It's only if he intentionally interferes with the play that the umpires would react.
But surely you could see the play being there, John, and he should have been well out of it.
Doesn't matter if it's not unintentional, I don't reckon.
No.
What does it matter?
He was a nuisance there.
A nuisance?
Yeah, he should not have been there.
Well, he's in the field of action. He's in the play. Surely it's got to be a free kick.
Yes.
I would have thought so.
Yeah, because he can see the plays there, you know.
Come on, John.
I think that's a bad decision by the umpire, John.
He was trying to get out of the way, I reckon.
Shouldn't be there.
No, shouldn't be there.
He should have been 40 metres away.
James taken high. He'll get the free. He's at left half back.
Now, that's not to say that Kevin or I didn't actually send our runners out to get involved in the play when we were coaching. We have now changed.
McLeod got it to Johnson. Back to McLeod. Screaming for it on the other side is an Adelaide Crow. Meters in the clear, Bassett, and eventually the ball finds him. Now Bassett is normally a good kick. The clock is running down. He will kick after the siren. They trail by 8 points. Everybody dreams of this, a kick after the siren. Generally to win the game, but this one to pull it back to a margin of just 2 points at half-time. And who would have thought that? The Crows in all sorts of trouble at quarter-time. Important kick, this one. Can they get a half-time on the back of a goal? Not quite the carry. Doesn't score. McCartney comes up with the ball. But a fine term, nevertheless, by the Crows. They fought back very doggedly in that quarter. I think a lot of people around the ground, certainly even up here, were feeling at quarter-time that was it for the afternoon. But obviously not that man or his troops, because they steeled themselves and really took it to North Melbourne in the second quarter. Good game of football now.
Well, they kicked 5 goals to 2. And I think it was their pace around the ground that troubled North Melbourne. We saw against Fremantle, the pace of Fremantle actually upset North Melbourne a fair bit. And I thought that their pace then in moving the ball quickly into the forward line caught North Melbourne out a bit. Of course, with Jarman booting 2 goals for the quarter and Brett James chipping in, all of a sudden, I think they gained a bit of confidence, Terry.
Yeah, and they took out a couple of the key players from the North Melbourne midfield in Shannon Grant. Stevens wasn't as effective as he was in the first quarter, so the huge amount of football that North Melbourne were winning in the first quarter had dried up during that quarter.
You could probably argue half-time's come at a bad time for Adelaide. They trail 7-9 to 9-5. The margin just 8 points.
This 7 News Update is brought to you by Colonial.
Good afternoon. Hope you're getting ready for the big game between the Crows and North Melbourne. Later at 6 in the news, we'll bring you all the drama from last night as Australia's most wanted and desperate man, Brendan Abbott, was recaptured. And his offsider, Brendan Bereshon, could be hiding out in Adelaide. The full details at 6. And you'll meet the mum who won $2 million on her birthday. See you at 6 for 7 Nightly News.
Nobody knows news like 7.
100% Australian grain-fed beef, slow-cooked in a unique process, then seared on the char grill. For the best steak in town, it's Hog's Breath Prime Rib. A different style for every day of the week. Hog's Breath Prime Rib, the best a steak can get.
If you've never visited a cash converter store before, then we'd like to ask you a question. Why buy new when nearly new will do? Or why pay more when you can pay less? Visit a cash converter store where you'll find a huge range of goods on display at discounted prices. And with 150 stores across Australia, there's one near you. Call into your nearest cash converter store and check out our price, our range and our quality, all backed by a 30-day warranty. Cash converters offer you a better way to sell and a great place to shop.
It's autumn. Time for the Truscott Hi-Fi Autumn Sale. Time to rake in the bargains with Adelaide's lowest prices with 12 months interest-free terms. Like this Sharp 4-head Hi-Fi G-Code VCR. This Philips 51cm stereo TV with teletext. This JVC 18x zoom camcorder. And this Sony 51-stack CD mini Hi-Fi system. With Adelaide's lowest prices with 12 months interest-free terms, you can rake in the bargains during Truscott's Autumn Sale.
In 1950, Chicago businessman Frank McNamara conceived a master plan that changed the way the world paid its bills. The Diners Club card is an original that's often copied. Now we're changing the way the world does business. The Diners Club business card system saves your company precious time and money. First in the world and still the last word in credit cards. Diners Club International, the blueprint for all other credit cards.
Jerry Marsden is Jerry and the Pacemakers. And after hits like You'll Never Walk Alone, Ferry Cross the Mersey, How Do You Do It, I Like It, Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying, and I'm the One, Jerry and the Pacemakers are in as much demand now as they were in the 60s. Time has made Jerry and the Pacemakers one of the best cabaret groups in the world today, and they're visiting Australia. Catch them soon.
Book now, Bridgeway Hotel, Thursday, 11th of June, proudly presented by Mario Mailer Promotions.
Big Colonel Burger, thanks.
After just one bite of KFC's Big Colonel Burger, served as a combo with chips and a Pepsi for just $4.95.
More Big Colonel Burgers, please.
They're coming.
We think you'll agree. No one does chicken like the Colonel.
Tonight, 6:30, be very afraid, because Mr. Bean's back with his money-saving tips on city parking. Plus, the secrets of high diving exposed. The hit series Mr. Bean, tonight, 6:30. Then at 7, the priests are out on a holy bowl.
You certainly are consistent.
And although Father Todd hits strike after strike, hello, ladies, he just can't seem to score with the women. What?
He said, tell her your name.
Dan Aykroyd in Soul Man after Mr. Bean tonight.
And welcome to viewers in New South Wales and Queensland. It's half-time here at the MCG. Good game of football, this one. Adelaide came out strongly, booted the first 2 goals of the game. North Melbourne suddenly got on a roll, kicked the next 7. But Adelaide working hard in the second quarter, back to trail by only 8 points at half-time. Just checking the goal scorers. 3 players have 2 for North Melbourne. That's Grant, Abraham and Hewitt. And for Adelaide, Darren Jarman has booted 3 and Brett James has got 2. And I feel a moment coming on, a Mitsubishi moment, featuring Graham Allen from the past.
Looking to the other side of the ground, in fact, will go across goal.
A point up, seconds to go, and a pass that went astray. For Graham Gubby Allen, it has haunted him for a decade. Allen had been one of Collingwood's best players this day at the Western Oval. With the siren about to go, the talented halfback flanker would be in charge of the Magpies' destiny.
Greg Phillips has raced off Beasley and yelled for the ball. Nice easy pass, switched the play and off we go. And of course my kick was a nice lobby sort of a drop punt, and Simon's run in and marked it and kicked the goal.
While Beasley celebrated an unexpected 5-point victory, Graham Allen was marked down forever as the backman who kicked that kick that day at Footscray. Graham Allen, another Mitsubishi memorable moment.
And we're still playing it. He must love us. Graham Allen, fine player for Collingwood, and before that Fitzroy, but not one of his finest moments. Just a reminder, Monday night around the country is time for Talking Footy. Check your local guides. And David Parkin will be on the couch tomorrow night, 11:45 in Melbourne, 11:20, or rather 10:45 in Melbourne, 11:20 Adelaide and Perth, 11:45 Sydney and Brisbane. David Parkin, Talking Footy on this 7 network. And we were speaking of magical moments before. Here's an inspired moment featuring our own Dougie Hawkins from Just Footy.
Goes for the hand pass, picked up by Hawkins this time.
Fire away, Sharina. Give me a couple of one of your tough questions, darling.
How did your career start at Footscray?
My career started way back before you were born, back in 1978, where I was invited down to the Footscray Footy Club from a club called Braybrook, which is in the heart of the western suburbs of Melbourne. You know where Braybrook is, Sharina?
Fine players, Andy.
Doug Hawkins wing. Dougie Hawkins wing. Absolutely fantastic, particularly when I was still playing, which was great.
Target mark for Hawkins!
By the way, Mick Moldhouse was up in that box there. Can you see that box there, right up here? I could hear him yelling at me, Dougie, get in, have a go, you weak dog. How good was that, eh? No, I could hear Mickey there yelling his heart out. And but no, the reason why I did play there, because the ball was always out here a lot. For some reason, the wind would blow across the outer wing. And I had one good quarter back in '84 against Fitzroy. And Mick said, second quarter, Dougie, stay here and play the second quarter. So I played the third, I played the fourth. And from here on out, I kept playing this outer wing all the time.
Beautiful play, Doug Hawkins.
This is one of my favourite grounds, the old Western, which is, of course, now the Whitten Oval. I love this ground, I have some great memories here. Beating Collingwood in the last kick. I'll never get this. Down that pocket there, there's a bloke named Graham Allen who played with Collingwood. Kicked across goal with about 30 seconds to go. Remember Simon Beasley? Yep. The bloke with the funny head? Yep. See the funny head. He took the mark, he was only about 25 yards out, and he went bang and kicked it through. And guess what? The siren went and the Doggies won by 3 points.
How did it feel the day you broke Ted Whitney's games record?
How did the day feel? It was one of the greatest days of my life. I had my children with me, we burst through the banner, and as I got to the banner there was Ted standing there. And I've never ever seen Ted Whitten cry. The tears would come down his cheek, we had a big cuddle. It was one of the greatest moments of my life.
How much did it hurt when Adelaide pipped them in the preliminary final?
Oh, I started crying again. It was a nightmare. Oh, it was just shattering. So I knew quite well We could have won a grand final last year. But guess what? We'll do it this year.
A funny man getting serious there. Just Footy hosted by Wayne Carey and Aussie Jones. Check your local guides around the country. They say it's a kids show. Well, I like it. Half-time here at the MCG. The margin is 8 points. North Melbourne lead. Back with Terry Wheeler and some highlights right after this break.
Tonight, 8:30 on 7, the Australian movie blockbuster that smashed box office records around the world.
Come on, girls. Let's go shopping.
Winner of the Academy Award, voted most popular movie at Cannes.
What is this, Outback with Benny Hill?
Starring LA Confidential's Guy Pearce, Terence Stamp, Hugo Weaving, and featuring the #1 musical soundtrack.
Green is not your colour.
A movie masterpiece, The Outrageous Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Tonight, 8:30 on 7.
Every day, thousands of Australians quit smoking. Some go it alone, others get help.
Hello? Yeah, look, I want to quit smoking.
Sure, well, you've taken the first step. That's great.
Yeah, you tried gum and patches before?
Hello, Quitline. How can I help you? And I can send you a quit book if you'd like.
Planning ahead is really important.
So how are you going with your quitting? Not everyone successfully quits first time.
Quitting is never easy, but you can do it. Call Quitline on 131 848. 131 848.
Then, with my hard-earned $2 bob, fish and chips on the way back from footy. Nothing like the choices you've got now. These days, it's all handed to you on a platter. But they don't make them like they used to. They make them better at Barnacle Bills.
At the Cornews, they're almost giving it away. Every rug's on sale, every rug. At least 15% and up to 60% off all these floor prices. Big rugs like these, just $99, and thousands more from $6.95.
The Blues are back. Get the music. Blues Brothers 2000, the original motion picture soundtrack featuring James Brown, Aretha Franklin, B.B. King, Paul Schaefer, Erykah Badu, Travis Tritt, Bo Diddley, Dr. John, Steve Winwood, Wilson Pickett, Blues Traveller, Johnny Lang, and many more. Get the music. Get the Blues Brothers 2000 original motion picture soundtrack now.
Introducing Wonder Press. It's an iron in a bottle. Wonder Press takes the wrinkles out of pressing clothes, from touch-ups to shirts, even suits and skirts. You're in the office, an urgent important meeting, and your shirt is wrinkled. You've booked into a motel. You take your blouse or shirt out, it's wrinkled from the bag. If this has happened to you, now Wonder Press can fix the problem in seconds. A simple spray with Wonder Press and you're ready for business. Wonder Press, available from Harris Scarf, Ken Plus, Tip Top and Foodland.
Whet your appetite this winter with the Peter Shearer Winter Collection. With Studio Italia single-breasted and double-breasted pure wool suits. The latest styles in sports coats and Rembrandt tailored trousers. Whet your appetite.
Look out for the man who goes by the name Peter Shearer.
You won't get better service and value anywhere.
Half-time at the MCG, North Melbourne led by 31 points at quarter time. It's back to just 8 points at the major break, 9-5 to 7-9. So the Premiers of 96 up against the Premiers of 97. Here's some of the action from the first half.
Here's the target. It's in his direction, off hands. Here's Welsh. Can't get around. Good tackle by Bassett. Quick snap. Carey. He doesn't miss. Thumps the ball long. North Melbourne do this so well. Welsh from behind. Carey floats through the air, gives it back off to Grant. 25 metres out, kicks a goal.
Last week, Jamison with 3 was the only multiple goal scorer out of a score sheet of 10 goal scorers.
James kicking towards call forward. Jarman first back, gets his third.
Yeah, I'm just saying, this is the type of commitment that Malcolm will be looking for, because they're really matching North now.
Rim from behind knocked it down. Connell quickly back towards the middle, and James, can he get another one? Yes, he can. No, he can't. He pulls it back too far, I fancy, although the goal umpire's gone a long way. He does like it.
Thought he was held. Pickett through the centre square, came off the half-back line, kicks the ball back. Carey with a one-hander. The King looking for Winston Abraham's made great space. Winston Abraham kicked the goal on the siren at quarter time. 35 metres out is a beautiful kick. Splits the centre.
Well, Carey is now floated right down inside 50s, virtually at centre-half forward. Keating didn't go with him, and now Keating's running hard back trying to be the free player for the Crows.
McLeod is having a good patch. He got it to Rintoul, who finishes it off. Magnificent long ball. Okay, Terry, what about these numbers?
Well, these are the combined totals up till half-time, but I think the significant part here was in the first quarter, North Melbourne had 85 possessions and then were cut down to only 45 in the second quarter, whereas Adelaide stayed quite consistent with some 70-odd in both the two quarters. So Adelaide really readdressed the game, tightened up in the midfield. Bickley was able to take Shannon Grant out of it. Stevens wasn't as dominant. And then the inside 50, Adelaide now in front as a result of doing 8-17 in that second quarter. That was a huge turnaround, that second quarter for the Crows, Dennis.
Can the Crows get back?
Oh, they're back there now, yeah. Now, the next step, just finding another couple of goal scorers. James and Darman are the two at the stage.
North by 8 points. We'll be back with all of the second half action right after this break.
To take the honeymoon they never had, but they'll never get there.
She's been brought into emergency.
Pick up the phone if you're there, will you? Over the next 3 weeks,
They'll be here very soon.
a very special All Saints. Then at 9:30, the women have had their moment of truth. Now it's time for the men to face the music.
Still your father. Stop calling him that.
An episode that every father and every son should watch.
You don't have too many chances with our children.
Chicago Hope after All Saints, Tuesday on 7.
You'll never go back to your old razor after you've tried Gillette Sensor XL.
I really like these special pressure-sensitive blades.
But wait till you feel these soft rubber ridges. This razor is tougher on my beard.
I'd say it's easier on my face.
Only Gillette Sensor XL has incredibly pressure-sensitive blades and soft rubber ridges to shave you closer and protect your skin from irritation.
Ask the judges. Try Gillette Sensor XL. It's tougher on your beard.
Easier on your face.
At the Cornews, they're almost giving it away. The latest looks sizable in 4 colours, half price. Wool blend Berber, 4 colours, heavy duty, 33% off. Heavy duty 80/20 wool plush pulp, half price, but only while stocks last.
Mario Maiolo proudly presents Burns, Cotton and Morris.
Fix up the rice in the church where a wedding has been. I am the real
3 of Australia's most successful recording artists together, Ronnie Burns, Darryl Cotton and Russell Morris, will take you back to fond memories and a musical experience that has earned its place in rock and roll history. Book advance for Burns, Cotton and Morris in Cabaret at the Festival Centre Banquet Room. Social clubs, book early.
Rocker Brothers have pulled out all stops to give you some great bargains in their May catalogue. Check them out.
For Mama, UBD Street Directory is just the answer at only $15.95.
That's good.
Or Chevron seat covers, a bargain at only $18.50 a pair.
You got me.
Plus up Mum's car with Marlowe wheel covers for $24.95 a set, a saving of $10.
A bargain.
Burson Deluxe floor mats, $29.50.
Look for these and other great bargains in the Rocker Brothers May catalogue.
Dad, I found something Mum will love.
Well, we're cheaper than the others, so I can have the brothers.
No one beats Steve Hambro for quality fabrics at the right price. Printed and plain fleecy, just $4 a metre. $4. Cotton lycras, $4 a metre. Printed velours, also $4. $4. There's enough stretch toweling to soak up the Pacific at $4 a metre. And this huge range of novelty drills, just $4 a metre. $4. Do your homework and compare my price with the other stores. I'll give them a caning. Shop around, then see me and save heaps on quality fabrics. I'm easy to find. Steve Hambro's Fabrics, 255 Richmond Road, Richmond.
Your best shave ever or your money back.
You'll never go back to your old razor after you've tried Gillette Sensor XL. It's tougher on your beard.
Easier on your face.
You be the judge. Take the challenge. Your best shave ever or your money back with Gillette Sensor XL.
The MCG on a glorious Sunday afternoon. North Melbourne 9-5, Adelaide 7-9.
7 Sports hope you're enjoying this match in the 1998 Coca-Cola AFL Premiership season.
Mark Roberts is our man in the outer. And Mark, an unusual turn of events that second term.
Certainly was. As I said before the game, the battle of the midfield was going to be important, and Adelaide got on top there, and Kane Johnson effectively shut out Shannon Grant for a while, and Rashudo got on top of Stevens, and they were our two prime ball winners in the first quarter, and the supply up forward wasn't there for us, and which is a test to 4 of our forward players in the first quarter were sitting on the bench there in the second quarter.
I made you complacent. I said you had it won. Sorry. Oops.
I told you it wasn't over.
You did too. Talking with Mark Roberts during the second half. Players back on the ground. Neil Curley has been in the rooms. Neil, what news?
Well, sorry, Malcolm was a lot happy with the commitment that quarter. And it's amazing how a team does get a bit of momentum and a bit of a run on. And it's not so much individual talent, it's just a little more commitment from within. And that's what we saw from the Adelaide Crows then. And, you know, the goals followed from that. And if they can continue doing that, well, they've got a real chance in this footy match.
Kevin Bartlett and John Russo here as well as we start this second half of the MCG. Good bounce too. Wren, who's been terrific, slaps it down for the Crows. Grant, likewise, one of the stars of the match. Across his body towards centre half forward, pushing the back by McLeod. Yes, spotted by the umpire.
An advantage called.
Away goes Carey. 20 metres out, got very close to the man who peeled off Bassett, who did remarkably well and forced the issue. He didn't hang back.
No, I thought that was great play by Bassett, who came at Carey, stood his ground and surprised Carey. So Hart kicks the ball wide. Can they keep up the good form from the second quarter of the Crows? Kicked off the ground by James, kicked a couple of goals in just before half-time in the second quarter. Here's Carey, traps it well. Goes backwards to Allison, run down. A lot more urgency in the Crows' play in that second quarter. If they take it into this third term, it'll be a big bonus. So out on the half-forward flank on the outer side, that's Vardy, goes short. Coming out was Archer, had a wild swish at the ball, picked up by Rintoul, quick hands back to Jarman, who's booted 3, maybe a bit of magic, bounce it like a basketball, squeezed on the boundary line, now you see him, now you don't, to Rashudo, runs into the open goal and kicks a goal. Great play by Jarman.
He's gone for a dribble.
Well, there's no doubt about it that Jarman is the most influential player in the Adelaide Crows side at one end. We have Carey at the other, and both of those players have turned on some individual magic here. And Jarman just controls the whole situation in here all the time, yeah. I mean, a very difficult ball. It's a funny-shaped agate, but he was able to keep it his all the time. And then Rashudo just floating ever so slightly in front of the play. He's hit with a great loping handball from Jarman and finishes it off.
Terry, can we put that one down to Jarman? Because if we do, that gives him 4 of the 8.
Fair call.
Oh, come on, but he did travel. Up goes Wren, slaps it down. Out of the congestion there in the middle by Stevens. Had a very good game. Caven hacks it out of mid-air. Rintoul dropped it. Picked up by Vardy to Costa. The Crows are coming strongly, but the progress halted there. Grant, after the good tackle by Pickett, boots it down towards the 50. Here's Carey surrounded.
Good tackle.
Dragged down by Caven. Picked up by Welsh, who heads for home. That is very close. I think it's good. Goal umpire says yes.
He's a popular TV commercial star who's lucky to be alive.
I was just having a night out.
Cut down on Sydney's main street.
I had no idea it had been stabbed 10 times.
Help police stop gang crime. Plus the hill of hope that became a hill of misery.
I opened the side door and I just heard a gushing sound.
Who released the wine and why?
32 tanks that had valves open.
A real whodunit in the Valley of Wine.
It's put an uneasy feeling through the great growing community.
Australia's Most Wanted, Monday on 7.
And there's the Adelaide bench. Puchoni there and Trent Orman-Allen.
Simpson got the last goal too. I think I said Welsh. Sorry, KB.
McKernan wins the tap, trying to crash his way through. There's James. Quick hands taken by McKernan. Quick kick. So under pressure, North Melbourne. Well trapped again by McKernan. They keep forcing the ball forward. McLeod, very good in that second quarter. It's all tied up on 50. Stevens at the bottom of the pack. And they'll ball it up. North Melbourne by 9 points. 66 plays 57. So again, Rashudo did so well in that second term, shutting Stevens down. There he is, speak of the devil. Stevens gets the ball back inside the centre square, back towards centre half forward. The big pack of players. Bassett came out, thumped on that time by Caven. Here's a chance, Bell. Quick to recover, back to Anderson. So under pressure now, the Crows back line. Smart in front, couldn't get his hands on the ball. Caught, dragged to the ground by was Welsh. Bell goes in hard, they pile on top. Bickley's there. Caven burrows in after the top of the ball. Hewitt comes over the top. And they'll ball it up just 30 metres out from goal.
It's quite an art now the defenders have to develop, is to make it look as though you're trying to get the ball out without actually getting it out.
They are good at it though, Wheels.
Well, yeah, Adelaide just didn't want that ball to go loose then at all. They had to hold it in there.
So a chance for North Melbourne. Welsh over the top, Simpson. Kick the goal, Bell. Quick snap across the face of goals. Beats McLeod over the line.
Peter Bell, former Docker, a vice-captain now with North Melbourne. Great story. Dennis Pagan, who saw his team jump out on top, now being tested. Wren, wide of the congestion. Coming across and meeting that one is Connell, but nowhere to go, so he takes it across the boundary line. He started on the bench. Anthony Stevens, 17 possessions. Shannon Grant, 19. 13 of them in the opening term. Some holding on there to Wren, and the umpire has spotted that.
Actually,
from a long way away too, John.
Yeah, better eyes than we have.
Speak for yourself. Wren goes over to Hart, and Hart's taken the mark alongside the boundary line.
But I think that's good if the other umpires will come in and pick up things that have been missed by the fellow in control.
There's Beckley storming away from half-back. Some indecision now inside the centre square, kicking down towards half-forward. Costa a chance. He could run onto this loose ball, Kim Costa. Bickle bounce back over his head. Scott hurriedly. In there is Archer, and that will do North. He just knocks it across the boundary line. Andrew McLeod, 15 possessions. Mark Rusciuto, 16 for the Adelaide Crows. The margin is 9 points. Set for a big finish here. McCartney and Keating, who started so well at centre half forward. Keating. McCartney, though, generally in those body situations is stronger. Bell moves it goalward for North by about 10 metres. Allison off the ground after Stevens couldn't pick it up. This is Pickett onto the loose ball alongside the centre circle to Simpson. It sits obligingly for him. Simpson kicks inside the 50. Scholl had it knocked away by Bassett. And hasn't Bassett adapted to league football? He's been terrific.
He's been very impressive, Bassett, across the back line here. And here's the
yeah, we see Wren's jumper clearly held. Now, the umpire in the middle of the ground right of screen has actually paid that because the umpire in control was on the left of that contest and probably couldn't see it.
And that was umpire Derek Humphrey-Smith, who we know has got very good eyesight because the tribunal told us.
Sarcasm will get you nowhere, KV.
No, I'm being honest.
Hey, what about the look on the face of Hewitt, too? He couldn't believe it. Not me. They practice that at training.
So Hart just tumbled the ball forward. McKernan building the wall. Just tumbles the ball back. Scrappy old kick in front was Hart again. Couldn't take it. Hewitt. This is a great kick. Deep into the forward line. The high flies. Winston couldn't take it. And it's forced through for a behind. Well, he can be exciting. They call him the excitement machine. And that's one big jump. Caven from the last line of defence. The Crows go forward. That's a poor kick. Hewitt on the point of the square. That's another poor kick. Kick short to a contest. Bickley too tall that time for Bell. Gives it back to Connell. Can win a lot of the ball. Start on the interchange bench. Kicks wide to Tyson.
Gee, that had to be perfect, and it was, wasn't it? Wouldn't have been far from McKernan's outstretched arms.
He's been a good player from the opening bounce.
Just got to toss it up here to Keating and get the contest underneath him.
Keating. McCartney playing in front. Kane Johnson runs onto the ball. Tries to get it across. Looking for Vardy. Tapped on by Johnson. Pressured out of it by Blakey. Does well. Tied up on the boundary line. Stevens heads for the line. Successfully. They'll toss it back in. North Melbourne lead by 10 points. 67 plays, 57.
Boundary throw in, right half forward. Adelaide attacking. Keating with two hands.
Oh, we're going to have a repeat throw in. Gee whiz, the boundary umpire won't think much of that.
Fatigue or nerves?
I wonder if he'll tell him to bounce it again when he bounces it crookedly.
More depth that time.
A bit of sarcasm there, John.
Blakey traps it right on the 50, shovels it out to Scott. Scott, the high floater. Grant goes back, takes
Shepherd
Shepherd against McKernan.
Yep.
He tried hard to disguise it, John, didn't he? But umpire right there, umpire John Harvey.
Wren tries to thread it to Jarman, sensing the danger. Martin gets across, claims the mark. Martin gets it to Bell inside the defensive 50. Now Bell can run. Scholl breaking for him. He bypasses Scholl, I think. Intended for Carey. Will it bounce to Carey?
High contact on Nathan Bassett.
Against Scholl. That ball falling between Scholl, who was going forward, and Carey, who was coming up from behind. So the first free kick paid there. And Bassett has helped get the ball down to Jamieson. Jamieson about 60 metres out. Looks for Keating, and he's taken the mark. Uncontested, about 25 metres out, 45-degree angle.
Dennis, earlier you offered the opportunity for us to comment on young Bassett, and I'd like to take it up now because I think he's been just so very, very good across the back line for them. And just here today, now they've been able to settle with it. He in the back line and Keating in at centre half forward at different stages has given them a very good focal point.
Aaron Keating is bending back. Not out of the textbook, but it's a goal. Well done.
I know this probably sounds a bit silly, but...
No, go on.
Well, the car's sort of going, I don't know, conqueror.
Uh-huh. Would that be a fast conqueror, or a slower conqueror?
Yeah, like that.
My husband thinks I'm crazy, but I can hear these rumbling noises.
What, sort of...
Yes.
From the engine or the wheels?
The wheels.
Front or back?
Back. You believe me?
I believe we should check it out.
Ultra Tune. In tune with you and your car.
4-point ball game. North Melbourne 67-63. They led by 31 points at quarter time. The Crows keep on coming. Rashudo, the raging bull, caught by Stevens, dumped.
Kevin, there's something missing from the North's work at the moment. They're just not, they haven't got the ferocious attack on the ball they had in that first quarter.
Well, the urgency is certainly there with the Crows. That ferocity for North Melbourne was magnificent in that first quarter when they had plenty of run, but they're being tested now. There's a great knockout by McKernan, taken by Stevens. Scholl's the target. Great play that time by Bickley. Got his hands on the ball, and this will be run through by Bassett.
Yeah, Kevin, also, Mark reckons that the forward line is a bit upset at this stage, your North Melbourne forward line.
Why do you think that, Mark? What do you think is lacking on the Kangaroos forward line?
Obviously, the ball's not coming in as freely. We've been shut down fairly well in the midfield. And it's just been circulated looking for someone to take a catch for us. Caven's doing well on Carey at this for that better part of that later part of that quarter, and we probably need Wayne to get back into it a little bit.
It's a good point you make because North Melbourne is a strong marking side. McKernan pushed under the ball that time. Loose ball to Costa. Great tackle by Scott. Unrewarded. And they'll throw it back in.
Well, Kim Costa was actually good enough to get the handball away then, KB, so obviously something the players train at very, very hard.
Bassett's doing very well on Scholl down there, deep in North's attack as well. North not looking all that quick. A problem last week and a problem again today. McKernan down towards Carey. Brilliantly done. Plucks it. He's about 60 metres out. Scholl gets away from Bassett this time, aided by great service. And he's marked about 40 metres out directly in front. Greg Scholl yet to kick a goal this afternoon.
Well, he's continued to present himself, Scholl. He's been a consistent and regular leader there, and this is one occasion where it has been honoured.
40 goals last season, including a career best of 6 against Port Adelaide. Gets his first of the afternoon, his 10th of the season.
You'll have to put on a brave face if you miss Lancer MR Coupe from just $23,990 with CD player and free air. It's out of the bag! You can get Magna Advanced Sedan and Wagon with free air. No more to pay. Mirage from just $14,990 drive away at the Mitsubishi end of financial year sale.
74 plays 63. Just under 10.5 minutes left in this third term. Rintoul tried to crash his way through, kicked off the ground by Scott, got it on the rebound, comes away, tackled, dragged to the ground, no free kick. Ball lands in the arms of Wren, who just tumbles it forward. Here's Mighty McMartin. Hits the ball hard, paddles the ball long in front, then tried to kick it off the ground. Jamison, quick hands, didn't hit a target. Coming out with the ball was Rintoul, gets the ball back short, James, and he finds Vardy.
That was very good vision, wasn't it? That was the way, you know, there was the goal square option, but just held the kick back a little bit and found Vardy, you know, just 30 metres out from goal.
So goal for goal. And that's the way to go to the football. Just cuddle up and enjoy the game.
Keep your distance.
Peter Vardy from 35 metres. He likes it.
Chocolate is chocolate is chocolate is chocolate is chocolate. Chocolate is chocolate. Chocolate is chocolate is chocolate is chocolate is chocolate is Cadbury is chocolate is Cadbury is chocolate is Cadbury is chocolate is Cadbury is chocolate. Chocolate is.
Concern etched on the face of Dennis Pagan as he hits the phone again. 11-8, 10-9, very tight now. Wren, who's dominated, slapped it down. James at the base of it all. Hurriedly out of the middle by Connell towards half forward, onto the loose ball. Rintoul goes long, and I think they've got the lead. The Crows in front. What a comeback. Rintoul gets his second.
Well, this has been an absolutely magnificent performance by the Adelaide Crows here this afternoon. To have virtually been blown out of the water in the first quarter, trailing by 5 goals, to come back now and with a heap of time left in the game. We're only 16 minutes into the third quarter to take the lead by the point. It's just been a tremendous effort. Every player has lifted dramatically.
Chad Rintoul, 2 goals, kicked a goal in that second term with that big comeback. And they came from 31 points down to trail by 8 at the main break. McKernan in the ruck. Stevens taken away by Wren. Gives the ball back out to James. They're winning the hard ball. Tumbles it forward. Mighty Mick got a bad bounce. Did well to get a hand on the ball. Loose ball. Taken away by Scott to Archer, who's been moved back onto Jarman. 3 goals in the first half. Back to Stevens from the half-back line. Pumps the ball long. The high flyer in front was Simpson. Couldn't hang on to the Sharon. Thumped on by Rashudo. He's got the big job playing on Grant. McKernan stands and delivers. Winston Abraham, the high flyer, but too tall in front was hard. Feeds it off to Caven on the rebound. Loose player out wide. Chad Rintoul.
And there's still a loose one. Jamison's half forward all by himself.
Screaming for the ball. He goes short. Finds Tyson. Been a pretty impressive player. A former Richmond player, went across, played with Norwood, picked up by the Crows. It's been very good in recent weeks. Keating's the target. It's into his territory. Shark by Costa. Kicks a high ball. Jarman running with the flight. Tries to take a one-hander. He's held. No free kick. He looks at the umpire. Kicked off the ground that time by Jamison. It's missed.
What about the outside of the boot by Jarman to get it back towards the middle? Unbelievable.
I don't think Jarman was held here. I mean, it's a momentary grab, and he obviously wanted the free kick, but very unlucky not to get the goal in.
Plays on a different plane sometimes. There's Blakey driving it around the outer side. Carey, big swish from behind. In goes Welsh, and across the boundary line it goes. 2 points the difference. Adelaide in front after they trailed by 31 points at quarter time. Capuano looking on. And Wren, who's been pivotal to this comeback. They've double-teamed him, they've triple-teamed him, and still he continues to work. Beaten that time. McKernan did well, got it down to Bell, to Allison. Kicks inside the 50, Carey at full stretch. So Carey, the chance to kick a goal to put North Melbourne back in front.
Well, this is mark number 8 to Wayne Carey, and he really is stamping his influence on the game. In the second quarter, he played a lot between centre-half back and centre-half forward, up and down the ground. But I think now that the side is under pressure here from Adelaide, they need to keep him at home. Home from Wayne Carey is working pretty much out of a forward pocket, getting hold of the ball in 40 or 45 metres from goal.
Going at his second here. The side trailed by 2 points. The breeze not a factor this afternoon at the MCG. Carey from just inside the 50. Big leap down there. McKern and Scholl. The opportunist goal.
Monday, 8:30.
Is he all right? He's obviously very depressed.
When Joe's dad goes missing,
His bed hasn't been slept in.
it's time to expect the worst.
Nasty one for you, I'm afraid, Nick. Log's been pulled out of the river near Cotter's Bridge.
Heartbeat, Monday, 8:30.
Then at 9:40, in an all-new Kavanagh mystery,
The stab in the back.
one man takes on the Royal Navy
Nothing. You can't do nothing.
in a fight for truth.
Can't think straight.
Kavanagh QC, 9:40 Monday on Channel 7.
North Melbourne answer the challenge at the 20-minute mark of the third term. McKernan, he'll come charging in against Wren. Up high, thumps the ball forward. Taken away by Johnson. Gets it back out to Tyson. The Kangaroos by 4 points. Mighty Mick sees the ball over the line. They'll toss it back in. Been a great player, Mick Martin. Taken on all the big names in recent times. Keating towards the front, taken by Bell. Ricocheted off Jarms, back to Risciuto. Kicks the ball into the pocket. Scott running with the flight. Cannons into Jarman. He's kicked 3 goals today, Darren Jarman. North Melbourne have got 3 multiple goal kickers. Grant with 2, Abraham with 2, and also Craig Scholl, 2 goals in this third term. McCartney and Keating, they've been at it all day. Costa thought he had it, lost it. Jarman goes to ground. He's got one in the back. Johnny Russo.
Yeah, he's paid in the back, certainly the signal given, so he'll take the kick from about 15 metres out. And you would think with his ability to convert, he will kick the goal.
Are you happy with the free kick?
I'll tell you in a tick, KB. Yeah, look, I mean, I suppose I can see why the umpire has paid that as in the back, but many, many times we see players run down from behind and buried to a greater extent than that was, and we call play on. So in the circumstances, I didn't really see a hell of a lot wrong with the tackle. It probably would have been better called as play on.
So maybe not an Academy Award, just a Golden Globe for Jarman as he pops it through. He's kicked 4.
Tuesday, a low-fat recipe that doesn't compromise on taste.
It does your heart good too.
Better tips on growing your own veggies. Plus the best advice on budget bathroom renovations.
That's a better idea.
Better Homes and Gardens, Tuesdays 7:30. Then at 8 o'clock, indulge in the beauty and tranquility of a tropical island holiday.
Paradise on earth.
Travel to Great Britain and visit the stunning cliffs of Dover.
The whitest cliffs in England.
In the great outdoors. Tuesday at 8 on Channel 7.
The free kick.
What did
Terry,
you
I
think
agree
of that,
with you.
Curls?
Even Mark Roberts thought it was a free kick to Jarman.
Yeah, the problem was Curls, that the umpire signalled a push in the back, and if anything, we reckon it was holding the man.
I would have been staggered, Curls, if you didn't think that was a free kick.
Both by 2 points. They win it out of the middle. Kicked out towards half forward from Kane Johnson. Bounces inside the 50.
That's the
Martin
second one.
was
That's
smothered.
great.
Keating did well. He goes after it again, Keating. Knocks it across to Vardy. Vardy kept his balance brilliantly. Deep in the pocket, Keating opens it up for Eccles. Oh, he took a risk. The North Melbourne man didn't touch it. It's a goal. I think I prefer him to give it a little air in future.
And I'll tell you what, the Crows supporters back in Adelaide watching this game, there's some good young footballers within your side here. Aaron Keating continues to improve. The longer the day goes, the better he's got. And his size of 200 centimetres, well, he's been able to get down at ground level, gives the handballs up, and young Eccles smartly, cleverly, or I'm not sure, arrogantly rolls it through. Foolishly, perhaps.
Well, it's been a 39-point turnaround since quarter time. The Crows now by 8 points. Wren, a dominating player. Gets the ball out. Connell again, inside 50. Here come the Crows. Keating taps it down. Been sharked this time by McCartney. Caught by Jarman. Martin under pressure. Kicks the ball back to the square. McKernan from behind. Paddling the ball through is Rintoul. North Melbourne. Now, can they answer the challenge? Inside the centre square. Tyson's been good all day. Tied up by 3. Winston Abraham's lost it. Pinched by Tyson. Kicks the ball back towards the flank. The race is on. Here's Vardy. Taps it out in front. Scott happy to just force it back over the line. There's Keating, who's down inside 50. So was that a glancing blow?
Well, he's up.
Prosciutto. Just a wild handball.
Can't afford to lose him. Look at his eye, that right eye.
Harvey to Archer. So they're forced backwards. Sets it up. McCartney on 50. Gets the go-ahead. Daylight second. Time for think music. McCartney to the edge of the centre square. Kicks long, deep. Carey was the target. It's in his territory. Pickett overruns it. Carey tumbles the ball forward. Wrong side. One behind.
Probably had enough time there to be able to gather the ball, Carey, but at the other end here, Keating coming off. You know, the eye looks quite nasty. If there was no blood, I would have preferred to have him assessed by the doctor up in the forward pocket, but he's just been too valuable on the ground, and it's always hard to manipulate these changes from the interchange bench.
Back on the Crows.
Blakey's free kick for push out the marking contest.
Connell kicked it up in that direction. Connell has been influential in the last few minutes. There goes Blakey meantime. Guess who? Wren paid the mark. As a result, Adelaide will have to take the kick. They'll bring it back. They were, in effect, off and running.
Dennis, the loss of Keating robs the Crows of the only tall option they had up forward.
He's been wonderful too, hasn't he? Rintoul gets it from Smart. They've developed the loose man. Prosciutto, he's away. Seen plenty of the ball this afternoon. 20th possession. Eccles! Over the top.
Well, I tell you what, this boy might not be 200 centimetres, but he can jump and he can mark. He may actually work as a bit of a foil in the forward line here. We saw him earlier in the game come up and take a good mark, and here he comes again. Well, he's been a class act right through his junior career. All-Australian and best and fairest here with the Knights in the VSFL here in Melbourne.
Important kick, this one. Crows up by 7 points. This to stretch it to 13. What a comeback. Great determination from the Crows this afternoon, but the goal umpire darts away to his left-hand side. And Eccles, I think, has got it, nevertheless. His second. His goal umpires must be getting paid by the metre.
This is an interesting one here. Here's the Mickey Martin, but I thought Mick's hand sort of came around the back of the head there, and yet it's the left eye, or the right eye there. Yeah, he would have got him. He has.
Somebody did.
Yeah.
Adelaide by 13 points. They've kicked 5 of the last 6 goals. Capuano, Piccioni on the field for the Crows. Crashing his way through was Scott. Tumbles the ball up to 50. A lot of hands went up, kicked off the ground by Carey. Bounces off the chest of McKernan. Bassett, the tackler. Smart comes through hard. The Crows defence standing up now under a lot of pressure in the first quarter. Gradually got on top in the second term and still holding sway.
Can they go on, eh?
It's their first visit back to the MCG since they won the grand final last year. So wonderful memories to take into this game. Kicked wide. Connell versus Allison. It's a one-on-one duel. Allison goes to the ground in the back.
It's a lonely feeling on a footy field, isn't it? One-on-one out like that.
202nd game for Allison, and there's a good mark for McKernan. Just too big and too strong that time for Bassett. Looks like Clark Keating might be heading up to the rooms to have some stitches. Aaron Keating, I should say, his brother Clark is up in Brisbane. So Aaron, have some stitches. McKernan from right on 50 has missed.
Well, there's no doubt about it. The Adelaide Crows are showing character. I mean, and they last year's final series, I mean, twice they had to come from behind. Think back to the game against the Western Bulldogs where they trailed by the 31 points at halftime and came back and had the win. That was great merit there, and they had to do it again in the grand final after trailing by a couple of goals at halftime. So, you know, they're starting to develop a bit of a reputation in the second half.
50 paid, Wheels.
What about Sean Wren? The heart and soul of this team.
Yeah. Well, in those two games I just mentioned, Dennis, he was the player who brought them back into it, I thought, in that final series last year.
I asked you about that one, John Russo. Was he off?
Well,
he moved off the mark.
The bottom line was the umpire hadn't called play on, so obviously Scholl had no right to knock the ball out of his hand. The player on the mark really has to wait, and rather than make his own decision as to whether the player plays on.
Wren got it to Caven, who got it to Smart.
But it did look as though he played on, KB, I must admit.
Gee, you don't want to wait till the umpire blows the whistle.
No, he should call it quickly, though, and if the umpire hasn't called it, then it's unfortunate, but the player's left there like...
Would you not give him the benefit of the doubt?
Well, he can't. He can't, because the umpire would then be acknowledging he'd made a blue, and
that's all right.
Yeah, well,
called common sense.
But he didn't think he'd made a blue. You see what I mean?
Enough already. 82 to 94. Here's Smart, kicking at goal, kicking accurately. The giant has been awakened.
Just to follow that through, though, Dennis, the umpire obviously didn't believe that he had played on, so he has to react to the next action, and the next action is the ball's knocked from his hands.
Yeah.
So Nigel Smart's goal here, and really Adelaide, after the quarter began with a goal for goal, they've now kicked 6 of the last 7 goals. So this constitutes a fairly solid run on by the Crows.
Well, at quarter time, well, we can see there's David King in the grandstand, and Anthony Rock up there as well. So Adelaide by 18 points. What a turnaround this has been. At quarter time, a lot of fans here at the MCG thought this game was over. Anderson kicks the ball high. Carey, great take on the half volley. Back to Stevens, hooks it around the corner into McKernan territory. Tap back by Hewitt, under pressure. Bassett, this fine young player, been sensational this year. Back to Wren as the siren sounds. A big quarter for the Adelaide Crows. They kicked 8 goals to 3, and there's Brodie Anderson limping right on the 3/4 time siren. Aaron Keating is up into the dugout getting stitches, but a big quarter, 8 goals to 3 by the Adelaide Crows to lead by 18 points at 3/4 time, and that man has been an absolute star.
The big fella. 21 possessions. The game may hinge on his fitness to run this one out. I mentioned earlier that weight of numbers has been thrown against him, and they've got a few to choose from. They've got Capuano, they've got McKernan, they've got Hewitt, who can ruck against him. He's been tireless. And to 3/4 time, Sean Wren has returned the figures of a ruck rover or rover. 21 possessions. 3/4 time, 12-10 to 15-10.
You'll be chuffed to bits. Lancer GLI Coupe from just $17,990 with free air. Hold your horses. Before you buy a car, check out Lancer GLI Sedan from $19,990 drive away with free air. No bull. Magna V6 Executive Sedan and Wagon with free air at the Mitsubishi end of financial year sale.
Weather conditions. Flight 409 to Paris will be delayed.
Our business loans are tempting, but our Better Business Selection lets you pick and choose from an assortment of business solutions with or without bricks and mortar security. For the full selection and great rates, call the bank. Which bank?
Hello world, let's talk about people who share the pride of doing a job well all over this great country of ours. Thousands of mechanics, people who change their oil themselves, trust Valvoline. You know what I mean.
You're tuned to Ray on Reef Radio. Wishing farewell to my good buddy Franco, who's been lured across the ocean for a measly 100% pay raise. So, it's goodbye to sleepy old Tres Santos. You're gonna miss popping out for seafood. And I know you're gonna miss the way they serve Bacardi around here. But if you gotta go, you gotta go.
¿Cómo voy a extrañar a ese muchacho? Pues no lo creo.
Aren't you dying for a juicy marinated chicken breast fillet, cooked perfectly, freshly picked tomato and lettuce, topped with creamy mayonnaise? The Colonel's Flame Grill Fillet Burger Combo. It's wickedly good.
You want to go out Saturday night?
Look who's been dragged to a singles bar.
How do you feel about marriage?
Hate it.
Wow, how about kids?
Had a vasectomy.
An all-new Home Improvement. Tonight, 7:30.
I'm Richard.
You like jazz? Then at 8 on Dharma and Greg, you're invited to the dinner party to end all dinner parties.
The potato masher. Oh, I told you, I gave her the day off.
The newlyweds dine with the in-laws. What are you doing? What could possibly go wrong?
I am starving.
Dharma and Greg, 8 o'clock tonight on 7.
There's 4 big premiership points at stake. Now the final term between the Kangaroos and the Crows.
What a transformation. Down by 31 points at quarter time, by 8 points at half-time. The Crows have bounced back now to lead by 18 points at three-quarter time. 2 other games being played today. Replays are scheduled around the network, so if you don't want to know the score, I suggest you look away now. We've got a final from Sydney, Melbourne, and a progressive from Subiaco Oval. Roberts down on the boundary, our man in the outer. Mark, what's the feeling at the moment?
Dennis wasn't a happy man then. He just thought that the work rate's got to lift a bit generally over the whole area. We seem to be getting the hit outs, but we're not getting it out of the centre, which is obviously a fairly vital thing in football these days. So that's something that we've got to address in this quarter.
Dennis Pagan disappearing into the distance towards the southern stand. Neil Curley has been out to listen to Malcolm Blight. Neil?
The body language in the camps are completely different, Dennis. You had the North Melbourne players, a lot of uncertainty in the way they were looking at their coach, whereas over in the Malcolm Blight area, the players were confident that they know they can win this footy match, but of course it requires 30 minutes of very hard, tough, aggressive footy with a bit of skill mixed with it.
Sean Wren waiting to go. Maybe the league's 2 finest players. I suppose you could throw Paul Kelly in there as well. Could determine the outcome of this one this afternoon. Wren and Carey. In the centre circle, James grabs it, nowhere to go. Ball up.
Dennis, just information on Keating. It's only a slight cut to his eye. That's not the problem. The problem is the swelling, which is affecting his vision.
Thanks, Neil. Wren. Bell in the road. Coming through James. Over the ball. He's got plenty of company. Stevens grabs him, and the call is holding the ball.
Well, obviously, Shane McInerney felt that he'd elected to dive on the ball or drag it in and was tackled legally and didn't hit the ball out immediately.
Stevens, the beneficiary then, kicking down towards half forward. Carey, third man in the queue, and the 2 superstars go head-to-head, and Wren carries the day at least that time.
I don't think anyone gets back and builds that wall better than Sean Wren. Tyson up towards the half-forward line. There's a good mark out in front to Stevens. So some rebound football by North Melbourne. They trail by 18 points as Bell belts the ball back towards centre half-forward. Simpson, a good grab. Feeds the ball off. Hewitt kicks ball down long. Here's McKernan. So some big guns firing at the start of this fourth term.
I think the clear instruction from Dennis Pagan has been just to play on, and North Melbourne have been conscious of getting the ball off by handball very, very quickly in these opening minute and a half.
Now you can see McKernan outside the playing arena, so this is a very tough angle. Got Costa ready to try and get across, but McKernan has hooked it, and he's got it.
Have you got the team photo of the 1998 AFL Premiership side? Over the next few weeks, the advertiser gives you the opportunity to collect all 16 AFL team photos to complete your official AFL 1998 footy album. So look for the photo coupons this week in the advertiser, then redeem them for just $1 at your newsagent. Footy up close in the advertiser, today's newspaper.
If he plays on between the man on the mark and the field of play, the umpire will call play on, and it won't matter if he's outside play, play will continue.
So Wren, again winning the tap, taken away by Connell. Kicks the ball down towards the half-forward line. Jamison's been on and off the ground today. McCartney paddles the ball long in front. Rashudo has had a good game. He's played right on Shannon Grant after he dominated the first quarter. Look at the desperation there. Johnson over the top is Grant. He wants the free and he's got it.
Well, it's been a long time for Grant. He'd been really taken out of the game after a magnificent first quarter. But if ever the side needs a midfielder up and running, it's now.
So Simpson couldn't take it at ground level. Bell pulled off the ball, back to Simpson, pumps the ball again, back to 50. Harvey had it, lost it. Danger man, McKernan kicks a high ball. Allison, he's got Smart to beat. Also back is Wren, and Smart takes it.
And the free kick being kicked out of here, going to Sean Wren in the front position there. So again, Wren just dropping back into the position in defence, being able to turn the tide for the Crows. Uses Bickley, a bounce on the outer side, ran into a little bit of trouble, gets around Hewitt eventually, out towards the wing. Costa, happy to see the ball go over the boundary line in front of Brady Anderson.
And there's the bench, Sampson there, along with Piccioni, Trent Orman-Allen, and Aaron Keating, as we've been told by Neil Curley, is up in the dugout, but not so much the stitching, but the swelling around the eye.
Anderson hurriedly onto the boot. It bounces down towards half forward. Smart could have been pushed in the back. It spills wide to Bickley. Bickley threads the needle, gets it to Tyson. Hard against the line. No margin for error there. No margin for error in this game. Adelaide by 12 points towards half forward. Good grab. McCartney in front. Former Crow, former Magpie, now a Kangaroo. Blakey, the cross half back, changes the direction of play. This is Martin. Where's Winston? That would make it Abraham, Martin and John. Kicks it up towards the wing. Carey is there. Caven reaching over the top. McLeod. McLeod on the wing. Short one towards half forward. Eccles controlled the half volley. Lacked support. Martin over the top. Hitting it hard. Connell swung. Holding the ball certainly.
Grant quickly across to Blakey. North Melbourne desperate now inside 50. The high flyer McKernan from behind. Allison the crummer. The danger man. Winston Abraham, the excitement machine. 35 metres out. Drags it. Through for a behind.
They really are playing on it every opportunity, North Melbourne. They're wanting to create a flow of players running from the half-back line, and the only way you can instigate that from a position where you are behind and your morale is a little bit low is that players start to take a bit of a risk and that you move the ball on almost instantaneously, that it hits your hands.
Crows by 11 points. Bassett was on Melbourne's list, but has been a surprise packet this year with his good form. There's Wren, who's been magnificent. 24 possessions, 7 marks and 15 hit-outs. So he kicks the ball back inside the centre square. It was a great kick. Yep. He was looking for Rintoul. Screaming for the ball. He wants to keep it moving. Jamison's calling inside 50.
They're a bit stagnant in the forward line at the moment.
Rintoul was in 2 minds, so he just pumps it high. Big fist away. Mighty Mick, ground level. It was Anderson who got the ball out, finally came back. from Grant to Mighty Mick through the centre square. Long bomb. McKernan looks dangerous. Over the top was Simpson. McLeod cleans up. Kicks wide on the rebound. Tyson has to get around Anderson. Caught.
Good tackle.
Incorrect disposal paid. Wheels.
Yeah, just the tackle didn't allow him to get the handball away effectively at all.
Yep.
Anderson, 15th possession, inside the 50. Big pack. Wren, the rover, gave it away initially. Welsh had the hand pass smothered. Now he kicks it down towards full forward. I hope they've touched it for the Crows' sake. It doesn't matter. It goes up against the post.
Dennis, we've seen a big lift from North so early in this last quarter. The thing is, they'd have to keep it on for the whole quarter to win this footy match. They've just got to keep the pressure on to win if they want to.
What drama. Mellington's kick, finding the post, untouched. McKernan knocks the ball across the boundary line. A throw in on the defensive 50 for that man's team. Malcolm Blight, head-to-head with Dennis Pagan, has the advantage for V2. Now Wren. Hewitt with the run. Wren clean possession. Fell in front, picked up by James. Rashudo comes away. Rashudo on the lead. Jamison. Jamison on the wing. Kicks inside the 50. Jarman is one out with Archer. Archer played it well to punch away. Archer follows up, brilliantly done. Throws it on the boot. Awkward one. Cochrane controlled it pretty well. Hand passes wider still. Opportunity for Stevens. Overran the ball. Costa working hard. Stevens mops up. Floats it towards half forward. They come from all points of the compass. And I think Bickley in front. Well, Bickley. Big Wren was there as well. He's paying the price at the moment. He will rest well tonight.
Slow to get up. Sean Wren. That was a good grab by Bickley. Stood his ground in front. James kicked 2 goals in the second quarter.
This is just where the Crows are missing Aaron Keating at the moment. He was giving him this focal point at centre half forward. Now without him, they're looking to be able to chip the ball and run it into half forward.
Well, they've done it well. Sampson down to Hart. Took it on the half volley. Kicks to the running Rintoul. Make that Vardy. Right on 50.
That was precise, wasn't it, all the way along. And Vardy's been a good addition to the side here today, hasn't he? Been very, very busy across half forward. Picking up a few possessions there.
Well, he kicked a goal in the third term. So Peter Vardy, there's Dennis Pagan, just having a chat with his fellow selectors. They trail by 10 points. This to stretch the lead to 16. Vardy. He'll take a good kick. He's outside of 50. It's starting to bend back. It's going to land right on the line. Long arms of Wren goes up. Off hands and through for a behind.
I think your call was very accurate there, KB. It was always going to be a huge kick for Vardy to make that distance. And in this situation, perhaps he would have been better off just pulling the kick a little bit and forming a contest on top of the square to give the Rovers a chance to crumb a goal.
Archer short to Abraham in the pocket. Adelaide by 11 points. Abraham drives it around the outer side. Eccles goes back with a fair degree of courage there into unexplored territory. Took the mark. Jamison has it now right half forward. The reigning premiers flexing their muscles this afternoon. They've been terrific. Can they win it from here? Centering kick. Grant, marvellous mark in from the side. Shannon Grant at centre half back. Started the day with 13 possessions in the opening term. Now has 22 coming up for his 23rd. Kicked a couple of goals through the centre. Guess who? If it's possible to get 6 Brownlow votes, they should get them. This has been a marvellous match by one of the best in the business without question. He's all the way back now. Wren towards half forward. Jamison had to wait. Fisted away. Blakey gets it to McCartney. McCartney didn't do the right thing. James, strong tackle by McCartney. Anxious to redeem himself. Picked up by Archer. Archer, wild kick. Hart outnumbered 2-1. The umpire couldn't have possibly seen that. Play on is the call. And I think we've got a compromise. It'll be a bounce.
0-0.
Dennis, we're talking about the commitment of North. I think the Crows have steadied. They've matched that. I can't see North winning this football match.
Plenty of time, Curls. Only 11 points the difference. Still just over 11 minutes of action left. 23,000 fans here at the MCG today. North Melbourne got away to a ripper start. They led by 31 points at quarter time, but they trail now by 11 points. It's been a marvellous comeback by the Crows. And the AFL website, if you want to catch up with all the information on AFL football, the second most used website in Australia. Only the Financial and Stock Report better than AFL football. Back to Bell. He's a goal kicker, but this time he's off target. Way, way off target. And through for a minor score. And in fact, that was Harvey who had that quick snap. So under 11 minutes left.
I'm not sure whether Curls is just being patriotic with the Crows or not and saying they're home, but I'm starting to get that feeling too, Curls. They are really controlling the ball a little bit better here now, and if anyone, North look a little bit shaky in the way they're using it.
Rintil to Rashudo. The R's have it. Kicks down. That's great play by Pickett. Got a fist to the ball.
Still 10.5 minutes to go. Watch Pickett again. I don't think Malcolm McKerris would call it this early. There's the official attendance, 23,041.
He has in the past.
Yeah, you're right. Tossed in, Rashudo. Was he always right?
No.
Rintil. Smothered off the boot. Brilliantly done by Stevens. Cochrane. Johnson sharked it. James. This is Rashudo. Pulling it back, intended for Jarmanoff's out of the contest. Jamison did well to knock it down. Pickett was pushed in the back. And Pickett just up from the pocket will take the free kick. 10 points the difference. Off a step. Short. Bell can run it out. Now he elects to kick. They've got the number around the outer side. Wren gave a contest. And my word, he hit hard, the big man. Blakey, but he held it up for them on the outer side, Wren, and that was good enough.
But Wren shouldn't have stayed on the mark. He should have got back to centre-half back. Big call, but he should have had a go at it.
Well, I don't think he wasn't capable to get back anywhere. On the outer side, Grant gets another kick.
Here he is again.
There he is again. Rashudo runs away. Rashudo's kicked down towards half forward. I don't think any Crow player could look Sean Wren in the eye tonight if they lost. Pickett gets the hand pass away. Sampson gets through to the 50. Pickett came back and got him down. Holding the ball, says the umpire. Pickett's inspired.
Had an opportunity, didn't take it, tackled, didn't kick or handball, penalised.
Great play by Pickett, gets it across to Bell inside 50. Out comes Shoal. North Melbourne all of a sudden. This is great. This is team lifting stuff by Pickett.
Oh, it's a fantastic tackle, isn't it? Oh.
Well, Shoal, he kicked 2 goals in that third term, started this last quarter on the interchange bench. So Craig Shoal, 55 metres out, is right on target. Here come the Kangaroos.
10 out of 10.
When you're serious about a garden project, Mitre 10 has all the expert advice, professional services and free gardener plans you need to get the job done right, every time. And our price match guarantee means we won't be beaten on price. So team up with Mitre 10.
To make your garden 10 out of 10 every time.
Mitre 10 out of 10 every time.
Craig Shoal has 3 goals, all of them in the second half. And what a game. Who would have thought this at quarter time? Capuano on his long run. Wren thumps it towards half forward. Abraham to Stevens. North Melbourne hunting the lead now. Kick inside the 50. Carey almost.
He's got it.
He's paid the mark. You're kidding.
Now, obviously, Shane McInerney believed that Wayne Carey had a firm grab of the footy before it fell out. I'm not so convinced.
John Russo.
Yeah, look, Curls, I don't think Wayne Carey controlled that footy, and I don't think the mark should have been paid, but nevertheless, Shane McInerney has paid it. Obviously believed that he controlled the ball, but I certainly don't think he did.
Carey going at his second. Is for the lead. And what's he done? He's missed. He's a fair man.
Well, Mark, looks like North Melbourne a little bit more desperate in this past 5 minutes.
Certainly does. Seem to have got a little bit of momentum running at the moment, and I thought that was a grab, John, by the way.
Turn it up, Mark.
That surprises me, Mark.
The Crows by 3 points. It's a thriller at the MCG. Capuano around the corner. Bickley, the skipper, in the back pocket. Last year's reigning premiers against the premiers from 96. Slugging it out. Here's Carey, big and strong. He's the danger man.
10 marks from Carey.
In tight games, he's a great player. Centres the ball. McKernan, his partner in crime, over the top. That's Simpson. Well, McKernan stood his ground as well. He helped Simpson take that mark. He held the pack down.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether Simpson belongs in this contest here, because once you see Corey McKernan there, you should assign yourself as a rover, but the ball was there to be got, and up he goes, just using the left leg.
To put North Melbourne in front. He's pulled it right.
KB, the one thing that North Melbourne have that the Crows haven't, that is big high-marking forwards in the forward line, and they could be the players that, if they're going to win it, they'll win it for them.
Sean Wren is on this broadcast side. The ball coming out this way. Rashido has it.
He's got to use Smart. He's got to go long over the top of Ren to Smart.
Yes. Wren's almost run his race.
Yep.
Just watching him while that last kick on goal was taken. Hands on his knees, just gasping it in. Rashido changes direction completely.
This is a good move because Carey had come over and covered Smart, so there was nothing forward. The switch is great.
Sunday afternoon at the relay races. Away goes McLeod in short. Jamison on the wing, back to McLeod. He's got the baton again. He's running down towards half forward. This is exhilarating stuff. He kicks towards the pocket. Archer full-chested, dragged down by Jarman from behind. Blakey gets the hand pass away. Sampson looks back, sensing he heard a whistle. Keeps it alive initially. It ricochets, I thought, off the boot of Scott. Good call by the boundary umpire. I'm informed too. And Sampson's got the ball. He's about 55 metres out. I was due. So Sampson puts it up towards full forward. Smart's in front. Carey gets back and defiantly concedes a behind. Adelaide by 3 points.
Well, there's a lot hinging on this game for North Melbourne. You can see their captain, Wayne Carey, believes that. He's doing everything he can. He's working from one end of the ground to the other to be involved and to really have his side be well rallied for the final part of the quarter.
For a bloke who said the game was over at quarter time, that was a good call, Dennis.
Shush.
We see Eccles takes the ball over the line. 70 metres around from goal. North Melbourne, we talked about their urgency. 8 tackles to 2. Wren over the back. Stevens, a hard worker, always tough in the clinches, just pumps the ball back towards the centre wing. There's another mark to Carey.
Hasn't he lifted?
He'll be the danger. He's going to kick this ball long. Allison's the crummer, pushing the back. He might be the flyer as well. Loose ball. Bassett looks slow. Kicked off the ground by Grant. No. He's missed it. Listen to the roar around the MCG. There might only be 23,000, but an almighty roar. There's a supporter.
Well, this is a pretty fair assessment here from Grant. I think the loose ball's there. And Carlton or South Melbourne, who are playing down at the Bob Jones Stadium, one of those players would have been happy with that left foot strike.
Meanwhile, Allison is hurt. Rashido took a mark and gets the ball to Pachoni. Pachoni, what a time to be introduced. Off the bench into the cauldron of this battle. He kicks down towards half forward. Jamison wrestles down there with McKernan. Allison coming off the ground. They've called it against McKernan, have they? Or is it McCartney? McCartney they've called it against. Jamison has the ball.
A bit of height on the forward line now.
Jamison to Jarman. Juggled attempt. Archer right there. Carey knocks it across to Blakey. Carey turning up everywhere at the moment. McCartney gets it to Bell. Bell floats it up towards the wing. 2-on-1 situation. The fumble. Smart went between them. Feeds it across to Rintoul. What a break for the Crows. Rintoul goes in short. And the mark is held by the youngster Pachoni.
Well, Hewitt just came off the interchange bench and had that big opportunity. But a good call. There was a monumental fumble.
So hard, though, isn't it? We're talking about Pachoni getting into the game, coming off the bench in a situation like this. And the same holds true for Hewitt. Short one comes to Rintoul. Adelaide by 2 points. Looking for their third win of the season. Such a big game for the Crows.
Archer has done a very good job on Jarman, but really Jarman, he can slip out, and he's just the one they're looking to work the ball towards here now.
Pachoni, clock just over 4 minutes to go. Jamison through his fingertips. McCartney gets back, hurriedly kicks the ball towards the outer side. Who's got the leg speed? Sampson knocks it to his own advantage. A fumble, traps it. Scholl in the opposite direction, confronted by James. Knocks it goalward.
Bickley, well done.
Bickley trapped it, stopped it. In goes Caven, spills to
Free kick to
Connell.
Bickley for pushing the back, I think, Dennis.
Yep, Caven's getting the kick, or is it Bickley? Bickley's getting the kick.
Well, Abraham just got into his back. He's on centre wing. Under 4 minutes left. It's been a great game. North Melbourne bounced out the blocks, led by 31 points at quarter time. The Crows have come back hard. McKernan running with the flight of the ball. Super mark. The loose players out wide is Stevens. This is a big play for North Melbourne.
McLeod.
Stevens kicks down to 50. It's a poor kick.
McLeod was just sensational there, KB. He never quite got to Stevens. Just his presence, the way he was bearing down, put the pressure on the kicker.
James to Pachoni. 65 metres out on the rebound. Goes short. He's looking for Costa. Jarman's there as well. That's a terrific grab as well. Blakey. Non-stop action at the MCG. North Melbourne. Bang, crash. Costa knocks down Bassett. Kicked off the ground by North Melbourne's Blakey. Pachoni picking up some touches since coming off the bench. Wren tired. Doggett. Over the top of the ball is Grant. Tied up by Pachoni. And they'll bounce it 65 metres out from Adelaide's goal. 102 plays 100.
What about Bassett and Costa having an impromptu meeting there? Bassett was headed towards goal, and Costa, with his back to goal, wanted to take the ball.
North Melbourne's chief executive Greg Miller sitting on the interchange bench as well. Slapped on by James. McCartney thought he was held by Jamison. Gets one in the back, goes to ground. 30 metres out from goal. Adelaide desperate. In comes Mick Martin along with Pickett, and they'll ball it up.
Okay, KB.
Yep.
We need some jumper leads out there for Sean Wren.
Allison copping a knee, forced him off the ground. Meantime, play continues. Martin clears the zone towards midfield. Carey, still Carey, back onto the loose ball, couldn't control it. McKernan across the centre wicket area. Cochrane slung, got boot to ball. Abraham couldn't complete the mark. McLeod, did he try and beat the tackler? He did, says the umpire. Good call. Carey's got the free. Carey is inspired. Adelaide by 2 points. A minute and a half to go. Carey inside the 50. A wayward kick. Bickley was in space. He didn't know that. Abraham falling to the ground to Bell. Bell keeps it alive for Hewitt. He slaps it goalward. Deep in the pocket, it's Welsh. Pushed towards the line by Smart. Over the top. Wren holding the ball.
Terrible decision. There is no way Sean Wren can get rid of that ball. He gathers it, and look at this. He just looks up and bang, he's snaffled. You can't tell me he had any opportunity to handball that ball out. No prior opportunity.
Short one comes to Bell.
KB.
That's a shocker.
I thought he was caught.
Should have gone the other way, shouldn't he?
KB did call it as caught.
I thought he was caught. I thought it was a good tackle.
Well, you saw it again like and he had no opportunity.
Disagree.
Here's Bell. This for the lead inside the last minute. He's kicked it for North. Oh, big fella.
Hi. Listen, I'm really sorry about what happened. Is there anything I can do to help get your car back on the road?
Well, with Amy, they're taking care of everything.
Quotes?
Done.
Repairs?
Done.
Good quality?
Guaranteed for the life of the car, even if I sell it.
Oh, wow. Well, I guess you don't need me then. Have a nice day.
A free service that takes care of all your post-crash running around. Call Amy now.
42 seconds left. 106 plays, 102. A controversial free kick. Make your own choice at home. Rintoul had it, lost it. Adelaide trying to force it forward. They need a goal. Stevens over the top of the ball. Picked up by Rintoul. Great tackle by Scott. Costa all tied up. Slung to the ground by Bell, who's just kicked the goal. 23 seconds left.
I suppose that demonstrates just how difficult that rule is. We've got three blokes here and there are differing opinions all the way along the line, and it's a tough one. Lucky there aren't black and white ones.
the Crows. They came from 31 points down at quarter time to hit the front. North Melbourne have snatched back the lead. Rashudo, a wild hand pass. They're desperate, trying to crash their way through. Connell, and again they'll ball it up.
That's it, I think.
On the edge of the centre square with 4 seconds to go. The time clock, the siren will sound. North Melbourne have won. What an amazing game.
What a gut-wrencher for Adelaide. Oh. What a game of footy.
There is no doubt about that. I mean, that's just sheer exhaustion from both sides there. Tremendous effort.
Mark Roberts, you can celebrate. What a terrific game, eh?
It was a terrific win. Testament, I suppose, the boys' spirits are hung in there all day, and that man Carey just kept us in it. Just a terrific player.
What a last quarter by Carey. He went up 2 notches. 11 marks on the afternoon, 24 possessions for Wayne Carey, and spare a thought for this man. I don't think any chance anyone could eclipse him as the best man on the ground, Sean Wren, but going back to that decision in their back pocket, I thought Sean made a mistake. I thought he had to go boundary side and get across the boundary line as we go down to Neil Curley.
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. Well, she was a fluctuating game.
Yeah, we started off really well. We had a good first quarter, and to Adelaide's credit, they fought back hard, and it was just a hard-fought game all day, wasn't it? And you know, we're pretty lucky in the end, although we did miss a couple of easy goals that we probably should have kicked. So it was a good game.
Well, it could have gone either way. Wren was magnificent for the Crows. I thought single-handedly he was going to take it off you.
Yeah, look, he's a sensational player, and when he dropped back across half-back, geez, he's hard to combat, I can tell you, but he's a fantastic player. They're a good side, Adelaide, and I'm just rapt to get away with the win.
Well done, Wayne. All the best. Thank you, Dennis.
Yeah, thanks, Neil. You don't like to take it down to one game, but you get the feeling now that Adelaide's chances of repeating have been severely dented this afternoon. Their chances of making a run at the top 4, well, it's going to take something from here. I mentioned they lost in round 6 last year. Their record was 2-4 after round 6, but they won their next 5. They showed a lot of heart today, but winning 5 games on the trot in the AFL, if history is to repeat itself, is going to be very, very tough for this team or any team. And Carey just wonderful in the last quarter. He was unstoppable.
No, he's a marvellous player. He took 11 marks and had 24 possessions. He kicked a goal.
I think we've been privileged this afternoon to see 2 of the superstars of the AFL, and there's Malcolm Blight. He'd be feeling this one. Seeing 2 of the superstars of the AFL at the height of their powers, Wayne Carey and Sean Wren, with such an important game on the line, and they did not disappoint. It was just terrific to be here.
It'll be talked about for a long time, that free kick with Sean Wren. There's no doubt about that.
Well, we couldn't agree
Let's
amongst
have a look
ourselves.
At it.
Watch it again. I think he should have just moved to his left and taken the ball across the boundary line.
He could have easily just lunged at the ball and taken the ball with his body over the line, Dennis, and that would have been the end of it.
And I'm the head of his fan club this afternoon.
Look, he played a great game. And look,
if he steps over the line, John, it's deliberate.
No, I'm not saying stepping over the line, Wheels.
What,
I'm saying
fall over?
No, I'm saying running at the footy, grabbing the ball and falling over the line with the ball.
But he wasn't running. He stood, received, and stand.
No, and that was, if he kept going with his initial momentum, he would have continued over the boundary line.
Peter Schwab's got a lot to look at this week.
It might not rhyme, but it makes a lot of sense. 15-16 to 15-12, North Melbourne home by 4 points.
Johnny's a Carlton mid, mate.
Come on out, you blokes. I know you're in there.
Double hop Carlton mid-strength bitter.
Hi. Listen, I'm really sorry about what happened. Is there anything I can do to help get your car back on the road?
Well, with Amy, they're taking care of everything.
Quotes?
Done.
Repairs?
Done.
Good quality?
Guaranteed for the life of the car, even if I sell it.
Oh, wow. Well, I guess you don't need me then. Have a nice day.
A free service that takes care of all your post-crash running around. Call Amy now. You're with Amy.
You'll be chuffed to bits. Lancer GLI Coupe from just $17,990 with free air. Hold your horses. Before you buy a car, check out Lancer GLI Sedan from $19,990 drive away with free air.
Huh?
No bull. Magna V6 Executive Sedan and Wagon with free air at the Mitsubishi end of financial year sale.
Have you got the team photo of the 1998 AFL Premiership side? Over the next few weeks, the advertiser gives you the opportunity to collect all 16 AFL team photos to complete your official AFL 1998 footy album. So look for the photo coupons this week in the advertiser, then redeem them for just $1 at your newsagent. Footy up close in the advertiser, today's newspaper.
This RAA symbol has always represented the pinnacle in motor service standards. Earning RAA endorsement is the toughest test of all. One service group has set their sights on this ultimate goal to offer nothing less than the highest standards, and so earn the right to display the RAA symbol at every one of its outlets. Not surprising, that group is UltraTune. There are 16 UltraTune service centres and they're all RAA approved. UltraTune, in tune with you and your car.
Adelaide Metropolitan Toyota dealers enjoy record new car sales. Now they've got a whole lot of trade-ins to clear.
Clear the lots.
A lot of late model Toyotas.
Clear the lots.
A lot of Holdens.
Clear the lots.
A lot of good used trucks.
Clear the lots.
Four-wheel drives.
Clear the lots.
And vans.
Clear the lots.
Toyota dealers all over Metropolitan Adelaide have a lot of used car stock that must be cleared. Buy now and you'll
save a lot.
Tonight, 6:30, be very afraid, because Mr. Bean's back with his money-saving tips on city parking. Plus, the secrets of high diving exposed. Mr. Bean, tonight, 6:30 on 7. On Home and Away,
It's not what you think. It wasn't for me.
a teenager caught red-handed.
What did Travis want to see you about?
What has Travis told you?
And when the dad finds out,
Now, what do you think a parent should know about that?
there's hell to pay.
Mr. Fish would like to see Gypsy in his office.
Home and Away, Monday at 7.
What can we say? Just a terrific game of football. North Melbourne getting home. A late goal in the last minute to win 106-102. They led by 31 points at quarter time. Great third term by the Adelaide Crows to lead by 18 at the final change. But finally, North Melbourne 15-16, Adelaide 15-12.
The 1998 AFL Premiership season proudly brought to you by Telstra, making life easier. Victoria Bitter for a hard-earned thirst. Cadbury Mark of the Year, and McDonald's, official restaurant of the AFL.
Now, the West Coast Eagles are playing St Kilda this afternoon at Subiaco Oval. That game in progress. Some replays are scheduled. If you don't want to know the score, I suggest you look away now. Russo's gone and you're still shouting at him as he goes out the door. What a great game.
It was just sensational, wasn't it? Just the way North Melbourne got away and just in total control there at quarter time, some 5 goals up. And really the question mark's always going to be put onto Adelaide in these situations because, you know, with the greatest degree of respect, they won the premiership last year, but there's still some question marks on them from the football fraternity. And here we were at the quarter time when they were really looking down the barrel, but their ability then just to rally and to find something from within, and every player to a man lifted. Big Keating, I thought, was a real key player for them in the forward line. Now here, this just shows some of the things he contributed. He ran the smother down then, he contests the ball, he receives it again, and then sums it up well on the boundary line here, feeds into young Eccles, and really that got them going, and they then went into three-quarter time, you know, some 18 points up in front.
Big loss though, Keating, in that third term, came off with that eye injury, didn't reappear, and really that, in retrospect, hurt them in the final quarter because Wren just didn't have any support, did he?
That's right. They changed their game plan then to be able to toss the ball around a little bit, and then the taller players for North Melbourne started to have an impact, didn't they? Here, Corey McKerning, letting the world know that he was pretty happy with that shot at goal, and then Scholl was in amongst it, and Carey in amongst it.
Scholl 3 goals in the second half.
Very, very important, isn't he? He works as a very good foil in that forward line around McKernan and Carey.
But as they say, the cream comes to the top, and Carey in that final quarter was simply inspired. And here's the big one.
Now the question is, did Sean Wren have prior opportunity to get rid of it?
You're saying he's a tired man.
Yeah.
Umpires don't consider that, do they?
Unfortunately they don't, you know. And Sean Wren was the man for the Adelaide side without any shadow of doubt. You can just see...
Anybody with a heart can't penalise him.
Oh, no.
Umpires, we've never said umpires have hearts, despite what Russo says.
Yeah, but you can just see how even the game is. I mean, that left column for North Melbourne, the right column for Adelaide, they are just about centimetre perfect all the way down. Dennis?
Terrific. So 4 points the margin, North Melbourne's way, and you couldn't be anything but impressed with their performance. Sean Wren, I think, is standing by in the rooms now with Neil Curley. No, we haven't got him down there just yet. Hopefully we can get him, but in the meantime, something he wouldn't like to see is that tackle one more time. Let's take a look at it. Now, he's got a decision to make. I think he should have gone left and just brushed the body and got the ball across the boundary line. He elected to go back, or at least just remain in the field of play.
It's a tough one, isn't it? You go to the left, he risks going out of bounds deliberately, and the free kick being wavered there.
No umpire would have done that, would he?
He's a right footer. Really, I think the head was working, but the legs just wouldn't go for it.
They wouldn't go, and Hewitt was taking no prisoners. No. We'll be back in just a moment at the MCG with more after this great game. North Melbourne home by 4 points.